everyone, and welcome back to the Walking Dead series by The Verdict's End. I'm your host, Nicole.
I'm Gary.
And today we're talking about The Walking Dead, Season 11, Episode 24, entitled Rest in Peace. This was the original Walking Dead series finale, not season finale, but series finale. So, Gary, what are your overall thoughts? How did it hold up, not just to a finale or a season finale, but actually a series finale? And then just overall, what did you think of the episode?
All right. I'm going to start with how it holds up to a series finale. I think it holds up well to a series finale. I mean, we've seen The Sopranos just come to an ending. Game of Thrones just come to an ending. It's not the ending that we're expecting, but it's an ending. And that's what I think it did. It just, they wanted to end it. They ended it. It was nothing special about it. Although they tried to bring in a memory, I think that's probably the best part of it. The memories they tried to bring in, where we saw Glenn, we saw T-Dog, we saw Lori, we saw Merle. We pretty much saw everybody, and I think that was probably the best part about it. But that's not a series finale. I wish they would have put us in place to have all these shows. We should have got more of Rick and Michonne. We should have got more of what Daryl's going to do. We should have got more of what Negan, yeah, what he had to do. And who is Negan with? Negan.
I think he's going to be with Maggie.
Yeah, he's going to be with Maggie.
Yeah.
You're right. He's going to be with Maggie. So they should have kind of leaned us in the direction of the shows that's coming up. Kind of have an ending like that instead of just ending it, because if you think about it, they didn't do anything spectacular. More people should have died than what died. In fact, they were just bringing people in just to kill them.
Yeah,
like we see
bringing Luke back. Well, that was this week.
No, I'm not even talking about the people we know. I'm talking about we go in a room and the room is just clear of our people, just our people in there.
Oh yeah.
And when it's time for somebody to die, there's somebody they throw an extra in, which came out of nowhere, which we know it wasn't in that room.
Right.
It was just like any other series, you know. They probably ended the series too late.
I agree. I didn't like the showing the old characters, and I'll talk about that when we get to it. Okay. I just don't like when people like try to mess with my emotions, like doing stuff just for the sake of like, let me get a tear cry out of her, or just doing stuff like, ooh, I bet they'll like this. This is a good callback. But like, if it doesn't make sense, don't do it just to be able like, oh, that's the same as this. Or,
well, I think it was needed. I think that part was needed to kind of show us where we came from, all the people that we lost, because we are doing a podcast about the top 5 deaths. The top 5 deaths, yeah. We're gonna do, next week we'll do top 5 deaths, maybe top 5 characters. And villains.
And top 5 villains. And then the fourth, maybe top 5 episodes. Like just episodes that, like some that just stand in your mind without having to look it up.
So this was actually needed for me because, I mean, there's a lot of characters that they brought up that I forgot about. Forgot passed away. Just didn't think about what happened to them. Didn't really care what happened to them. But now, I got to see them all. So I think that part was needed, but it was needed like after the show. After everything happened. Then let's go ahead and just show everybody that we lost along the way. Something like that. I guess the way you mean it, or they put it to you, is it was meant for a tearjerker.
Yeah.
That the way they slid in there, it wasn't put in there to say, hey, this is who we lost along the way. It was put in there like, hey, y'all cry now.
Yes, that's what it was like. And I think it could have been done differently, that part, because it just came out. Ellen Pompeo just announced that she's leaving Grey's Anatomy, the lady who plays Grey, Meredith Grey. And I'm just thinking back to, I know that series, I haven't watched that series in years, and it's nothing like how it was when we first started watching. We were big not Game of Thrones, Grey's Anatomy fans back in the day.
Yeah, we were.
And I'm just thinking now, like her last moments when she does leave, a good montage with like right before she closes her door, whatever she's doing. I don't know if she's leaving the medicine field or just leaving that hospital, but I think a good montage with her closing the door, looking at her office one last time, and then we get flashbacks of all of our old Grey's Anatomy characters, and it would be perfect like that. And the reason I'm bringing that show up is because it, to me, that it worked at the end. I get them doing it at the end, but it would have made more sense, or I would have enjoyed it, kind of like how you were saying, if we knew where everyone was going. Like, if they showed Daryl going off and we knew exactly where he was going, or, you know, his journey, and then at that time showed people that related to Daryl's past, and like some of our favorite characters, the Murrow, whoever, some of the people he had to fight. And then once again, do the same thing. Whatever they talked, that whole Michonne Rick thing, I'm not even gonna get on that to you right now, but like, they could have showed us the old characters by showing the new characters why they go off on their journeys. You know, even if someone's doing the gardening, then we could see someone from the flashback from our past doing the gardening. Or I would have liked it a different way, because as right now, it just seemed like it was a tearjerker.
Well, every time a show ends too late, the season finale is never going to be what we want it to be.
Right.
Because it's like I said, it ended too late. It went on way longer than this should have went on. Maybe this shouldn't have been the last season. Maybe they should have had a last season a season ago.
Yeah, at least 2 seasons ago.
At least 2 seasons ago. Or if they're going to make this the last season, this should have been a season transitioning until everybody was going to be at. And that would make us want to watch the next series, the next shows.
I would not have liked it, because that's almost like what they did with the... Okay, let's just get into our likes and dislikes. So now we're just going into it, because I that's what I feel like sort of did with the Rick Michonne montage at the end. I'm like, what the hell is this? This is the first 5 minutes of their show? Like, it didn't seem to go.
What I mean is not like that.
Okay.
I mean, they would have did a little more throughout the series.
Yeah. Yes.
A little more throughout the season.
I wouldn't have even mind, since they spoiled it for us anyways, I wouldn't have mind showing little clips or little flash forwards to where I don't know. I mean, I'm not the show writer. We'll ask Chantel. Let's just get into our likes and dislikes, because I think we're going to touch on some of those things now.
Yeah, we're doing a little too much dissecting right now.
Overall, I will say I enjoyed the episode. It was not, to me, a series finale. It would have worked more for a season finale.
I don't think this would have worked at all for a season finale.
I probably would have been okay if last year it was a season finale. Who knows? Even then. But that's what I mean by it definitely didn't work for a series finale.
Yeah. I don't think this would have worked for a season finale, because we know season finales, it got to be off the chain. It got to make us want to come back next season. And this right here will make us want to come back next season. If this was a season finale, this would have been like one of the most disappointing season finales.
I don't know if it's, you know, a series finale. So,
but I'm comparing to other series finales.
Yeah, you're saying it's on par with
it's on par
with series finales, not on par necessarily with season finales.
Yeah, it's on par with the season finales, especially the ones that ended too late.
Yeah,
they could have been
they could have been cut closure. That's what a series finale is. Like, you kind of want everything tied up in a perfect bow. Even if it's not a perfect end story, like Rosita dying, at least we know her story. But so I kind of wanted a more perfect bow, but it really felt like, yeah, we're saying the show's ending, but it's not really ending. We're going to give you guys 4 more spin-offs. It just feels like a cash grab. It doesn't feel like they're doing it for the art, for the entertainment, or for the enjoyment of the fans. It just feels like cash grab, cash grab, cash grab. Look at us. We'll have like 10 more years of Walking Dead conventions and everything. Which I understand, they're a business. They're supposed to make money, but... And
you're right. It seemed more like, hey, look at us. We're having 4 more shows coming out, 4 or 5, whatever. And we have the possibilities of more.
Right.
With how we ended it. And the reason I say possibilities is because they didn't kill anybody.
Right. I mean, really, probably by the time the spinoffs end, they're going to be like, okay, y'all, it's been 4 years. We're bringing The Walking Dead back. And it's like, y'all never left. I feel like, I really feel like they're not really leaving. That's why it doesn't even feel final. Like, all the big stuff that they did, the awards and the red carpets, I guess it just didn't feel final to me, because I don't feel like it is. Like, there's 4 spinoffs, and who knows what they're going to do after these spinoffs.
Right.
So.
You're right. They may bring The Walking Dead back.
Yeah.
And when I say they didn't kill anybody, they didn't kill enough of anybody's.
Yeah.
They didn't kill enough of them. I'm just put it like that.
Right. All right, well, let's get into it. I mean, we did enjoy it. So we have quite a few likes but quite a few dislikes. But let's get into it. The Walker commercials were awesome. Like, I kind of ignored that first one. And then that first one, I don't know who that was. But then the second one was Milton from, the governor's, place.
Right.
And Woodbury. And then we had Andrea and then Gareth from Terminus. But there was a commercial before that, and I still I cannot tell who that was.
And me, I thought differently about the commercials.
Yeah, because when we were watching, you're like, oh, those are corny. You said something, you're like, I didn't like it. I'm like, it's on my like list.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. And the reason I didn't like it is the reason you didn't like the end. I thought they were doing too much. They were focused more of the season finale through commercials, through this, through the Oz, and instead of focusing on the episode, making the episode good.
Yeah.
That it's like they put, although they didn't put the money in those places, people who
Somebody
actually,
else, the company. Well, those aren't real companies.
I thought they were real companies.
No, because Milton, I don't know what the hell he was selling, but like he's like, we got the thing where the walker can just breathe on it and the door opens and whatever.
Yeah, they were real companies. Like the first one was DoorDash. The second one, when he said to breathe on the door, that was a technology company. So these were real commercials. These was a real company.
It what? I just assumed they weren't real commercials. I didn't know what they were talking about, so I stopped paying attention to what they were selling.
Well, and I guess that's why we felt different about it, because I felt like they just put this is a series finale, so we're just gonna make these commercials, this Walking Dead commercial with dead people doing this, which I thought was kind of corny. Is like, instead of doing that, why don't you just put that into the episode, make the episode better? But those were real commercials.
Okay, I did not know that, because I just like once Milton did his Walker breathing on the door, I was like, okay, that's so I stopped paying attention to what they were selling, what they were talking about.
Yeah, it was a technology company. Like the DoorDash, a lot of them, them things didn't really have anything to do with the commercial.
Right.
But it did in certain ways. Like the one, him breathing on the door, that was like a technology type invention company, whatever. So
okay,
I'm pretty sure that's not one of their inventions, but I'm pretty sure they have millions of them.
Yeah.
Others. So they were basically promoting themselves. DoorDash promote themselves. Like what the dude was like, hand sanitizer. I may need it because I don't know where his finger's been. He took out his mouth.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I didn't even know.
These were actual commercials.
And the reason also why I liked them is because they reminded me of that episode on Atlanta, like season 2 or 1.
If it was something like that and these weren't real commercials and they were something along the way of Atlanta, I would have thought it was just as corny.
Oh, you would have?
I would have thought it was just
so funny. I'm like, oh, they got this from Atlanta. These are like fake commercials with the walkers, and it's funny.
Like the only way those commercials would make sense to me, the Walker commercials, is if the episode was just amazing. If I would have saw they tried with the episode, like, okay, this is the series finale. We're gonna have explosions. We're gonna have bike rides, chases. We're gonna have the fights of fights.
Yeah.
This episode, there's no reason anybody should have been alive at it.
I thought I wish they would have went harder.
They should have went harder because they went hard.
Yeah.
It was like they went hard and it was a complete fail, like I think the Game of Thrones was. Okay. They tried to go hard at the end with Khaleesi. And everybody thought like, wow, this is not her. They changed characters. They moved too fast. And that's the same thing they did with this right here. I know we moved on from this conversation. We're in our likes now. But this is basically the same thing. They rushed the hell out of this episode. They rushed the hell out of this last season. And we're going to get on it because there's a lot of things in our dislikes that just didn't make any sense for this episode because it didn't go with anything. I mean, they just had people. Let's go. Let's go.
I'm just looking at Gary like, damn, we in our likes, yo. That was our first like. Okay, next like is the lady saying goodbye to Luke. I thought that was so sweet, like so moving. Hearing them cry was also sort of like, it was sweet, but then it was also sort of funny because they're sitting over there crowding Luke, crying over him like he's about to die. And then Daryl and Carol are like over Judith, and and every time they hear a cry from Luke, they just kind of look over and then look back at Judith. And then they hear like a cry and a scream, they look over and look back over.
Yeah, that was funny.
But one thing I thought it was sweet. I love this scene, like the emotions are so high, and just remembering that group came together, even though Yumiko was not there at the time. I'm glad they didn't just have her pop up, because sometimes she did pop up. I'm like, where did she come from? But I'm like, maybe I forgot. But she wasn't here in this scene. But one thing I will say, and it's not a dislike, but I thought they should have put him out of his misery. Like, don't sit over here crying as I painfully die. I'm gonna die, so put me out of my misery. Just instead of giving me 20 extra seconds of watching me cry my tears, my eyes out, or whatever this expression is.
Yeah. Well, I have a couple of things to say about it, and none of them are likes. Like this.
We switched because usually I'm the one that's like that.
Like, this wasn't a big like for me. There were certain parts that I was okay with, like them not putting him out of his misery. They try to take his leg first. I was okay with that. And I don't think he just died from the bite or his leg getting cut off. I mean, it was more than, it was like broken heart and everything. Like, it's hard to heal in one place when you're not healed in another.
Right. Well, and he's screaming. He's, how they always go, calm down. Like,
And there's no way you could be calm after seeing something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is a person that he obviously was in love with. He stayed there with her. Did they get married?
I don't know, but he moved, he moved,
he
left
moved
Alexandria.
There. Yeah, but I mean, that was his one. So I can understand why they didn't put him out of his misery, because there was a chance that, I mean, he would have made it. He could have made it, but it was just
not at the point where they were at. I'm not judging him for cutting off his leg. I'm judging after the fact, when we're all crowding around him and he's screaming, crying. They're crying over his, like, pretty much dead body.
Yeah, but you could tell they were crying for different reasons. Like, he was crying because
he's a girl. Yes.
Yeah, he just lost her. And they were crying because they're about to lose him, which bring me back to just a couple of weeks ago, and none of y'all fucked with each other.
Just a few weeks ago, none of y'all was even talking to each other.
They weren't even talking to each other.
Unique wearing corporate outfits and shit. I mean, it's crazy.
She was doing her thing. In fact, I think they had a conversation about that. Magna and Mika had a conversation about, hey, we don't even talk anymore.
We don't even talk anymore. We don't even know what we're arguing about.
We don't even know what we're arguing about. We don't say I love you no more.
Yeah. All right.
Man, they were just speaking on that. Like I said, that scene wasn't a dislike for me, but it wasn't, I didn't love it. It wasn't a like for me either. I just really telling you things that I focused on during that scene was like, yeah, he could have made it, but there was just too much he was fighting against. The loss of blood.
Well, I know part of this scene also did make
Broken Heart
my dislike list, but I can't find it. So we'll just talk. Oh, here it is. Okay. Even though I liked that scene overall, I'm not trying to jump over the place, but Luke trying to save Jules and making all that noise, and he's like, Jules, no! I mean, I understand. They're in the thick of it. I can't tell you how to act when you're in the thick of it. But it just feels like they've been through enough shit, like crazy shit, that you would keep more calm. Like, he's screaming. What is that going to do? Like, shut up, and now you're bringing more attention. I know it sounds so insensitive, and I know people probably like, Nicole, what would you do? Well, duh, I've already made it clear I'd be a Eugene in this show. But what I'm just saying is people like Luke, he's more skilled. We've seen him in action.
And I think that's the problem. The problem is we think that people that are skilled and been here before, that they're used to seeing this. But it's the opposite. Because the more skilled you are at this, you're not thinking that you're supposed to die, or the person you're with is supposed to. You're not thinking this stuff is supposed to happen to them.
Yeah.
Because you're so skilled, you all been here before, you fought together many a times, and if you think about it, they just escaped one thing. They just escaped the one thing from Ocha's side, made it out together. You're not expecting to make it out of there and dying from what we call the old death now.
Yeah.
And that's the walkers.
Walkers, yeah.
So I can understand his frustration, because this is not supposed to happen. We're too skilled for this. We should have been able to clear a path faster. We should have all been able to make it through there, at least our people. That's what you're thinking in your head, but
yeah.
I mean, sometimes that's what leads to mistakes also.
That's true. Yeah, because you're so used to it. Now, I will say I'm not trying to be insensitive, because it kind of sounds a little bit insensitive when it's like, well, you've been through this before. And it's like, yeah, just because someone has been to war before, it doesn't mean when they go back the next time they're just A-okay. Like, or someone, it's been through some serious shit.
Yeah, and it's proven that people who never failed has a disadvantage. Like, if you keep going through this stuff and you keep winning every time, in your head, like I said before, you're supposed to win. That's what you're thinking. Like, hey, yeah, we're going to scream, but we're going to make it out of this. So when something like that hits you, and when you finally fail, oh yeah, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah. I guess he wasn't one of the ones that were supposed to live. I'm sorry, that's on my dislikes. We'll get to that. Like, them at the end saying, we're the ones that's supposed to live. Like, what the hell? He's saying I was supposed to live? He was supposed to live.
The more you survive, the more you think you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure none of our people thought they would be going out. Glenn didn't think he was going to go out. Who else went out with
Bob
Glenn?
was the only one that was like, yo,
Abraham
I may go, I
didn't
may
think...
not go. I don't know when I'm going to go. Bob was like the only one that seemed like he just knew, like, yo, it may happen today. If it not, I'm thankful for it.
Well, Bob had, like, deeper rooted issues. He had more issues than just The Walking Dead. Like, you could tell his life was kind of fucked up before The Walking Dead.
No, wasn't he like a paramedic or something?
Yeah, he was, but he always had that drinking problem.
Oh, well, it's probably because of the trauma you see.
Yeah.
You know?
So he was in the military or something?
I don't know if he's in the military. I know he was like a paramedic.
But I think he was for the armed forces or something, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be. But when I thought of Bob, I think that he was in the military and everything. And you're right, that could have caused a lot of his trauma right there.
Yeah.
But Bob, when we met Bob, he was an alcoholic, living day by day. Sasha turned him around a little bit.
All right, let's keep going. We're only on our third like. We got like 10 more. All right, Rosita finding Coco. This whole scene, like showing the walkers first eat the flesh, was super cool. When they get on the scene and we're just watching the walkers like eat an arm. And I know we've seen walkers eat before, but something about that scene was so gruesome and like real. It looks like the meat of the raw meat of the person looked so real. So I really like that. But I thought the scene was so intense. Like, I wasn't breathing that first time watching. I was just like, oh my gosh. The walker's going to get to the baby. She's going to see her baby die right in front of her. They're going dark. They're going hard. I'm like, I'm not ready. So I thought the scene was very intense. And then I loved it that she was able to save Coco. My only sort of, since I'm on it, and I didn't make it as a separate dislike, but I'm going to talk about it here. And that's, why were these babies at Commonwealth and nobody was guarding? Like, what was the whole point? They took all these people.
I think they were being guarded.
And children.
I think the people who were guarding them were the people getting eaten.
Well, but then why did they take some people to Alexandria, even little kids, little Herschel, but then the babies they left at the Commonwealth? Well, which makes more sense because you can't travel with a baby.
Yeah, you can't really travel with a baby. And I think they were left at the hospital. Were they at the hospital when they...
I don't even remember where they were. No, I thought that was a room. I don't know. We did watch it twice, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that makes sense because you don't really want to travel with a kid.
Yeah, well, I kept saying,
and then you got to think about
the car seat.
Like the car seat. But you had to think about they turned everything into outpost. Alexandria was outpost, so that's a working area. Oceanside, I'm pretty sure that was a working area. So these people were just working and sleeping and eating, working, eating, sleeping. So you can't really, or they probably didn't have people there to take care of babies.
Babies, yeah.
And you can't really have baby. That's like having babies in the prison.
Right. Okay, that makes more sense. Judith telling Daryl she can't die because then if her mom does find her dad, she'll never know about it.
I love that part.
I was going to say, I think this was more your like.
Yeah. I actually love that. That's an innocent kid thought. Yeah, it's not a thought by, I can't die because I'm too young to die, anything like that. She wasn't even thinking about herself. She said, I can't die because if she find my dad, I would never know.
Yeah.
She won't be around for it. So I thought that was a kid thing. They finally took the adult out of her.
Okay. Yeah, even though she was looking much older. She was about to age out.
Yeah, she is aging out. She does look older. I mean, she definitely looked like she's 18, 19.
She doesn't look that old, no. But she does have a job at Walker Stop and Con for the rest of her life.
Playing the 11-year-old. How old is she playing?
I think she's supposed to be 12 or maybe 13 at this point because they did do another time skip, a year time skip. So she could be 13 by now. All right, so this is a like. I'm pretty sure it was a big like. I did see people, I think, talk about it on the internet. But that is Daryl hiding Judith the same way Shane hid Rick in the hospital, which goes back, because I remember there was I remember Lori, I don't know if the public, if the audience thought it, but I know Lori was like, you told me he was dead, you left him for dead, or something like that. There was like this kind of like, damn, did Shane not do the most for his friend? And seeing that Daryl was pretty much doing that same thing, even though he didn't actually leave Judith, he was trying to find a way out, but he did that same thing as best he could to protect her. That tells me that what Shane did was the best that he could do to protect Rick at that time as well.
Yeah, I agree.
And I was actually fine with that callback. Like when they did, I was like, okay, they did the callback. They know we'll like this, and I agree. I liked it. Even though part of me was, at first I was like, wait, he's just going to leave her? He's just going to leave her? Why didn't he close the blinds at the very least? Those Walker variants are going to walk by and they're going to see her through the window. But that's the only thing I sort of did think. But all right, so these next likes, it's 2 separate scenes, but I sort of put it all in one big like, and it's a big one. And that is Negan's apology to Maggie. I thought it was so sweet. I loved him saying sorry. I didn't even realize he hadn't said sorry because she's like, I've waited so long to hear you say that, or I never thought I'd hear you say that, or something like along those lines. But even bigger of this, his apology to Maggie, was when she tells him later on in very calm manner, like the reason why she can't forgive him. I'm always going to remember you beating my husband to death with a bat, him calling out for me as he died. You literally laughing, mocking him as he died. All of these things that I've lost and that my child has lost. And Glenn was such a beautiful person. That was probably her saying that to Negan was probably my favorite scene of the episode. It was just so moving, and it reminded the audience of what she lost because Glenn was so important to us all.
It was needed.
Yeah, it was definitely needed.
It was needed because, I mean, I've been bad talking to her since she's been back.
Right. You have. Not saying she ain't with us, and even though she's talking about the future right now, she is talking about the future.
But if you think about it, she's not with us, and she wasn't with us. But I'm glad that she explained this to Negan because I wouldn't be with us either.
Right.
If I was her, I would have left and I wouldn't have came back.
Yeah.
Because I keep saying the reason she came back is because she needed help. And I still stand by that. The reason she came back is because she needed help. Because she called the other place home. She went over there. She didn't want to just go get the food and bring it back. She wanted to take the place back from them.
Right.
But I can understand it better now. I understand that, yeah. I mean, why would she want to be there? And they're trying to hold on to Negan. They're trying to put him in a jail, imprison him. A constant reminder of what he's taken from them. So yeah,
and especially with her saying like, I don't want to have this hurt anymore. I don't want you to have this hold over me. I don't want my kids seeing that you have this hold over me. So I get all that. Although I will say, you know, and Daryl nodded to him. I don't know how Daryl was able to forgive him. I think Negan should go to either, if they're at Commonwealth, he should go to Alexandria. If they're at Alexandria, he should go to Commonwealth. Like, just go to a different, there's still a couple of different communities that he can go to. At this point, he can go at least to Commonwealth if they're in Alexandria.
I agree with you. I don't think that Negan should be with the rest of the people, especially wherever Maggie's at. He shouldn't be there. Although we know they're getting their own spinoff together, so they're going to be together.
Right.
But I'm with you that, I mean, he should have never been any place that she was.
Right. Right.
Although he really wasn't.
Yeah, because she was
at a hilltop.
Yeah.
But remember, that was causing a strain right there because I remember one point, I can't remember who went to Hilltop to see her, and they said, hey, we haven't seen you in a long time. You haven't came. And she made it clear why she wasn't coming back then.
Yeah.
Or why she didn't go there at that time. So I do agree with you that they should keep him away from wherever she's at. But like before, they did keep him away. She was somewhere like totally different.
That is true.
But that place is not around anymore where she was at.
That is true too.
You know, it's a lot of tents and everything there. But I mean, I do understand her a lot better. And like I said, I wouldn't be a part of the group either.
All right, next is Rosita telling Eugene how she got bit. I really like this because it was just a sweet scene and he kind of already knew. Although I will say I knew something was up. Remember when, I don't know if you remember, but when we were watching the first time and she just looked so sad looking at Coco. It's like, oh shit, Coco must have really died or Coco got bit. So that was what I was thinking. I thought maybe Coco got bit because she was there with her baby. She saved her baby and she just didn't look happy. But then Eugene was like, you know, I thought, or where did it happen? Or I thought something happened. Where did it happen? And that's when she showed him. So I was like, okay. I'm like, I knew I wasn't reading this scene wrong at first, but I just assumed it was Coco.
You're right. You mentioned it. You said maybe the baby's dead.
Yeah.
was when they showed the baby at the time. It was
The-
kind of like a camera trick or a trick, whatever.
Yeah, her eyes were
Production trick,
closed
because
and
her
stuff.
eyes was closed. She wasn't moving. So, yeah, she could have been dead. I didn't like the scene, though. And, well, you know what? I can't say I didn't like the whole scene, because I did like the part you liked where he went over there, he makes small talk. And his talk was about the future. Like,
take her to swimming in Oceanside.
Yeah, summertime. I can't wait for summer. So he was saying that, I think, trying to get a response out of her. And when he didn't get the response that, like, yeah, it is, summer is coming up, I will be able to take her. But it looks like she got sadder the more he spoke.
Right. That's why I was like, what's going on? Like, something's wrong with that baby.
So this let you know that she knew she was going to die.
Right.
Or she was already bit. I do actually call bullshit on the bite, though.
Wait, can we go over it in our dislikes? Because there's a few things that happen in that's part of the dislike. So
all right, so I'm gonna write that down so I'll remember to go over that.
Okay, we won't skip it. Although I will say just a tiny, it's not a dislike, but I just said I am tired of people getting bit and not saying anything, or like being the sacrificial. Like, why don't they be the sacrificial lamb? Like, remember Carl was like, shit, I'm already bit. And remember, he was out there talking shit to Negan, and like he put himself more out there because he knew he was gonna die.
Yeah.
Not saying Rosita had to, but after, I don't know.
Well, I can understand Rosita's part also, because she just spent all this time without her child.
Yeah, she's gonna spend the last few hours with her baby.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think even if she wouldn't have got bit, she would have been over. It would have been a happier moment for her. But she would have still held on to her baby.
Yeah. No, definitely. All right, next like is yours, which is when Judith says to Daryl, I'm fine like you promised. You like that? Oh,
yeah, I like most of Judith's parts, really. Even the part where she was half dead, but trying to block the door for the walkers.
You know what? That did not even make the list at all, but I'm pretty sure, like, Chantel or somebody will write it. I didn't even write anything about that, because it was just like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, she's out of it, but she's still able to close the door, and then just the fall back and pass out type thing that they do.
Because, she's overexerting herself. She used too much energy right then and there. Yeah. So she had to fall out.
That's true.
But I just love her and Daryl parts. And I love the love they have for each other.
Yeah. Yep. I do too.
And like I said, her parts, like what she said, I'm fine just like you said I would be. All her parts this episode was more on a child's level.
Yes. Yeah. And I do like that, because even The Walking Dead has done it, but all shows do it. When it's with kids, the kids are always way more mature than like a normal 10-year-old or 12-year-old be.
Right, some of them.
Yeah, a lot of times on these shows.
Either they're much older or they're not even their age yet.
Yes, yeah.
Like they haven't progressed at all.
Yeah, they'll look like RJ's looks the same size the whole time.
RJ, I think this is the first time we heard him talk.
Oh yeah,
this episode, right?
But we didn't even see Daryl give him a hug again, yo. Daryl said bye to them and like gave him like a little pat on the head or something, and then like when he gave Judith her deep hug after he hugged Judith, then he hugged Ezekiel, and I was like, have they two ever talked? And then afterwards, he didn't hug RJ, and I'm like, okay, did RJ just get like a little hey sport on the shake on the head? That's what it
because
felt
if you think about it, we don't know RJ.
Yeah.
They never formally introduced us to RJ.
Yeah. No personality. We haven't met. We don't know anything about his personality. What he likes, what he doesn't like, anything. We've seen more of Gracie than we have of RJ.
We have. And like Gracie, I mean, she's still a kid. Like you mentioned before, like why haven't they taught her how to fight yet?
Yeah.
Why she's sitting there screaming, looking scared? Because she's doing what a child would do. Although, I mean, we both agree that
they're failing her.
Well, no, I don't. I won't say they're failing her, because he may want her to stay in a child's place. He may want her to grow up like that. Grow up with that old. Well, right now it's the old school feeling since during the zombie apocalypse. But grow up with that feeling of being a kid, the coloring, the watching the kid movies or whatever. I mean, some people don't want their kid to be out there fighting and being in a grown person's space.
I get what you're saying, and I know we've had this conversation many times, but I still feel like you have to prepare your child for the world they're living in, not the world that you necessarily like, I wish it would be this way. You know, that's why we teach kids,
but
don't take candy from strangers. Don't go with a stranger.
But it's kind of harder in this world because they are finding places. Like there's the Commonwealth. You know, now we saw they were in, no, I don't know if they went back to Alexandria.
I couldn't tell. We kept trying to, it looked like they were in Alexandria.
Yeah,
but then when Daryl writes out, I don't ever remember a lake or anything being near Alexandria.
So it was more like the Commonwealth. Yeah, I don't know where they were at the end because we said Alexandria.
Yeah, we thought it was Alexandria.
But then looking around, nothing looked like Alexandria.
Yeah.
And then when he got to the gate, it definitely was Alexandria because, you know, they didn't have that big walking field.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, when they walked inside the gate. Like when you walk inside the gate of Alexandria, you see the houses.
Right away.
So I don't really know where they were at. I'm just guessing they're on the other side of Commonwealth that held up.
All right, well, first, dislike. Daryl getting knocked by the two stormtroopers, or knocked down by the two stormtroopers in the beginning of the episode when it's like first starting and they're, I think, at the hospital. This is when he just brings Judith in. It's just him. He puts her down. He walks around the corner. Then you see two stormtroopers come in after him. You hear a little commotion and then you see him fall back. But where did those stormtroopers go? Why would they have just knocked Daryl out but not killed him? And like, what happened? We even went afterwards and we saw Judith fall back down after closing the door. It only panned on her and Daryl, so it didn't even show like two dead stormtroopers or anything.
Well, the stormtroopers, it looked like they weren't on their job at all. They were trying to get away. Oh. So they probably went over there. Daryl saw them, took a couple of swings. They knotted them up real good. Boom, boom,
that black eye.
Give him the infamous black eye.
The infamous black eye, yeah.
The black eye that
changed colors throughout the episode. It went from healed to not healed to extremely raw. It was crazy.
Yeah, like you couldn't tell like what stage the black guy was in because it was like the whole, he went through the whole stage in 24 hours.
Yeah. Every scene we're like, okay, what is his black eye gonna look like right now?
Right. But it looks like they were just trying to get the hell out of there. You saw the walkers coming in the door. The door wasn't closed good. Yeah. They probably came in running from the walkers. Oh, yeah.
That's a possibility because they were blocking the walkers off.
Yeah.
So they might have ended up just getting stuck or something.
So when they went behind the wall, they all probably saw him like, nah. Try to fight him. They was like, man, here, sit down. We trying to get out of here. Right. Hit him with the two-piece.
Yeah.
They got on. In fact, that was a hell of a two-piece. Because when they had his head wrapped up.
Who, Daryl?
Yeah. When he woke up, remember his head was wrapped up?
Oh, shit, no.
He had a bandage over his head.
Oh, yeah, he did, yeah.
He had, I promise you, go ahead.
I do know what you're talking about.
And when he took that off, he had all kind of knots on his head.
He was really fucked up. And I was like, how did he get that fucked up? And we're like, oh, the stormtroopers, that little commotion?
Yeah, that
little
commotion.
It was like a 10-second commotion.
Yeah, they weren't playing. They weren't playing about getting out of there.
Or is the armor itself, it's so hard, maybe it hurt him really bad. But
that's why they said, you don't fight a scared person.
Yeah.
You don't mess with a scared person.
Yep.
If they was trying to get up out of there before the walkers got in and he got in their way, pop, pop, pop.
Yep, bloop, bloop. All right, Ezekiel stopping Mercer from shooting the walkers. It's a like because Aaron was there walking with him, and we know how I feel about Aaron, but it's a dislike because why? Like, Ezekiel had no reason to stop Mercer when he's like, hold on. Like,
well, there could have been many reasons for it.
Yeah, but then the fact that they show Aaron pop up and he's like, luckily I listened. It's like, no. Usually if you see a herd of walkers, you do shoot them.
Well, I don't think it was the appropriate time to shoot them because the walkers wasn't walking towards them. All they were doing is loading the truck up, ready to get out of there. The walkers were walking straight past the building.
That's true.
So why bring that attention? So I don't think he stopped them because of Aaron. I think he stopped them like, hold up, they're not messing with us. Let's not mess with them. And Aaron and Lydia just happened to hit the corner as he was saying that. Because we didn't see, we know they weren't hitting the corner before he stopped them.
Yeah, that's true. All right, next dislike, and I think it's what you were getting to earlier with Rosita. But this is Rosita, and I'm all for, like, of course, equality between the men and the women, but I'm just going to say that. But Rosita allowing Eugene and Pastor Gabriel to go up ahead, like up that little ladder thing ahead of her.
You know, and it's not even about her allowing it. It's about them.
Like, I'm sorry. I know it's all equality and everything like that, but I'm not only looking at Eugene a little side eyes. I'm looking at Pastor Gabriel side eye, because is that not your girl? It's like, who is she to you? You guys keep saying you're raising a kid together. This was your girlfriend, even though I know someone mentioned a few weeks back, I think it was Chantel, somebody mentioned, like, did they break up? But if they did, it was never clear to us. It never was shown. And they were holding hands this week, and I'm assuming they were still together. But
I think they were still together.
He didn't do anything that told me, like, this is my partner, this is my wife, essentially, this is my girlfriend, whatever the case may be. I didn't like that shit at all. I'm like, Eugene should have fell, or maybe even possibly Gabriel should have fell, but Rosita should have been the first one, at the very least the second one up there.
I don't know if I agree with any of them should have fell, but they should have definitely let her go first. I mean, that was just weird seeing them go. Well, Eugene, it kind of makes sense.
Well, and I forgive Eugene, because she told him he was ahead of her. She's like, go, just go. Yeah. So, okay, I'm not going to argue there. But then next I know, Pastor Gabriel. So I saw Pastor Gabriel.
Well, she told him to go too. She said, go, I'm right behind you. But he should have never went. He should have told her to go.
Yeah, you go, I'm right behind you.
I'm right behind you.
You have our daughter. I don't know whose baby Gabriel was holding. Not saying that all babies ain't, loved, but, like, if that's my child, no, you go take my child up there. I'll be right behind you.
Right.
That might sound wrong or whatever, but
I mean, it may sound wrong, but I mean, that's life.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see a man going before his woman.
Right. I just didn't see it either.
Especially his woman and his child, the child they're raising together.
Right. Okay, let's talk about that child. Okay, let's just real quick talk about that child.
Hold on. Let's wait. Don't go there just yet.
Okay. Well, the next dislike is Rosita falling with Coco, and just falling with Coco. Oh, it was part of that same like. So I didn't talk about that part though. But just the fact that she fell, I didn't like that either. I saw a lot of people say that it was like sort of the Glenn dumpster fire gate, because originally, remember when she got back up, I was like, whoa. I'm like, okay, they did a little psych out. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this, but they did a psych out. But at least it wasn't like, it happened 5 seconds after one another. She fell and then she got back up. So
yeah, but it was a psych out.
Yeah.
Because there was no reason she should have got bit. Like all those layers of clothes she had on.
All those layers.
Like
she had so many
she
layers.
had a hoodie on.
Yeah.
With a jacket over the hoodie.
And her backpack was there. Like it was just so much padding.
Yeah, it was so much padding she had on. And I mean, we noticed on the second watch. The first watch, I let it slide.
Yeah.
On the second watch, when she got up, I'm like, damn, she have a lot of clothes on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, there's no way she should have got bit in that spot. I could see if she had a bite maybe on her neck, maybe.
Yeah.
Cause
even on her leg or her arm, somewhere else.
And if it was on the arm, it had to be like on a hand or something. Yeah. Because she was covered up. She was really covered.
She was pretty covered,
So there was no way with all them clothes on that anything could have bit her way back there.
Right. Although I do think it's a missed opportunity that they didn't just kill her and baby Coco, unfortunately, at that moment. Like, that would have been like crushed, sad, I can't believe they just did that.
Right.
Type of moment.
That would have worked better than her surviving.
Yeah, her surviving.
Looking sad.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Next is like these variant walkers it was like sometimes they were variant and then sometimes they were your good old classic walker. Like it was like they variant when they need to be, and then any other time they're just like just walking around like a walker.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I understand not all of them being variant, but have variants in every herd, every group.
One of the shows are going to have variant walkers in it.
Yeah, I believe so.
Because they wouldn't have introduced them again.
This late, yeah.
Yeah, again and this late if it didn't. Because they really introduced them for no reason.
Yeah, because they didn't. Gary, you mentioned the one that picked up the knife, the walker last week that picked up the knife.
Right.
Didn't see him shank anyone. Didn't see him do anything with that.
Didn't see him do anything. It was just a missed opportunity with that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot of stuff in this episode, and yeah, we both disliked the variant walker. But just moving on to my biggest dislike is, I don't know if it's the way they sped up the episode or things like cut to, I'm here. Like Daryl, in a matter of like, less than 1 minute, he was like in 3 different places. He was inside talking to somebody. He was inside talking to somebody else. Then he was outside sitting on his bike.
Yeah.
So this was a rushed episode. And what made it worse is they kept putting extras in to die.
Oh, yeah.
I hated that.
Yep, in the hospital.
Like when they were in the hospital, yeah, they put extras in.
We saw a lady get pulled out, and we're like, where was she? Who is she?
Like, where did she come from?
Where did she come from?
So after she got pulled out.
Then we looked.
Yeah, I told Nicole, I said, Nicole, let's stop it right here. Now, look who's all in this room right now. In the room, it was nothing but our people. Cut to when the variant broke through the glass. Now Glenn was there again. Because as soon as the variant broke through the glass, he snatched Glenn out. I said, hold up, is that Glenn? Go back and look at that scene. They brought Glenn back just to kill him again.
Okay, I want to be like, PC with it, because I do feel like since Glenn has died, the actor that played Glenn, has died on the show, I do feel like every once in a blue moon, they put like a quote unquote like Asian man character, and they'll have him with the hat on, just like they do with Glenn's son, have him with his little hat on. And it's almost like it's sort of racist in a way, if you think about it, because it's like some random Asian guy, and they always try to make him look like Glenn. Like, there was I know it sounds so cringe talking about it, but I promise you, like, that I feel like they've done that a couple times.
Well, I haven't noticed that them bringing guys back. I noticed it. I noticed it on tonight's episode.
I swear, anytime, like, how many other Asian characters do they have? Not many, if at any.
Right.
But every time they bring them only. I mean, it's literally like what they were saying with the black male characters. They bring black males on just to die. That was like the whole big thing. But I think the underlying story that no one's been paying attention to is they've been doing it with the Asians too.
Yeah.
It's been quietly done. And like they don't have any talking parts, so you just don't really notice it happens. But
right.
I've noticed it happen. And when Gary said the Glenn, I was like, "What are you talking about?" Then I'm like, and they did try to make him. They tried to at least make us remember Glenn by having him with that hat on.
Had him with the whole outfit.
Yeah, and I was like, "What the hell? Where did you come from? You weren't here just a second ago."
And we laughed so hard at that scene because we rewinded it twice.
Yeah.
Just to see them kill Glenn again.
Stop saying.
And the thing about it is, yeah, this was an extra. It was an Asian guy. And I'm thinking, nobody noticed when they told him to put on the costume that he put on Glenn's costume. Like, nobody in there, no director, no producer.
It was like,
nobody
that looks
noticed
too much like Glenn.
That,
people were going to think,
Yeah, we told you to put on the costume, but you can't put on Glenn's costume. Glenn is gone.
No, they directed him to that specific
You think
costume.
They directed him to the costume?
They directed him to that specific thing. Because no one else had any other, like, detail that would, like, pull him. Because there was a black guy there, too. And we're like, where the hell did he come from? Because he was so freaking tall.
And that was another. And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
In this scene, they tried to rush it, and they tried to just throw randoms in there just to die. Like, this is the last episode.
Right.
You could kill somebody.
Yeah.
There's
consistent.
There's a lot of people, and they haven't been consistent in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Because think of when was the last time we got a major death? I mean, Rosita. Yeah,
Rosita is a big death.
It's a big death, but the psych out just kind of killed it.
Yeah, and that's what happened with me and Glenn. When they really killed Glenn, I was just like, oh, I already mourned him with the psych out. And I mourned Rosita in the moment her psych out. I was like, oh, shit, that was so
I don't know. Yeah, Glenn. Yeah, we mourned Glenn in his multiple psych outs.
Yeah.
But his death was gruesome.
I mean, it was,
and it was shocking.
Yeah.
But Rosita, yeah, we mourned her when she fell because my heart fell when she fell.
Yeah, I was like, no, but like her baby.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm like, damn, I did not think Walking Dead had it in them.
Right, but I mean, they really don't. They don't have it in them.
Yeah, they don't.
And they didn't have it in them this episode to kill any of the major people that's not really coming on to the next shows. I mean, there was missed opportunities for.
They could have did Carol. They really could have.
I was about to say that.
Said, yeah. Oh, okay.
I was just about to say that because I picked her most likely to die 3 weeks straight.
Yeah, I picked Aaron too.
And she survived. So it's almost like they missed the opportunities of the people that are not coming with them because maybe Nicole's right. Maybe in a couple of years they are bringing The Walking Dead back.
Oh, watch. It's gonna be like, because there was another show or something. Oh, the Kardashians. They're like, we're back. I'm like, y'all were just on air. Like, what do you mean? Like, they made this big hoopla. The Kardashians. Now who? I'm like, y'all just left. Like, what are you talking about?
What they leave? They left E or something?
They left E and went to Hulu like a year later. I'm like, no, you can't make like it's a big thing. And I feel like Walking Dead is going to do that. Give them like 4, maybe 5 years.
I don't think it's going to take that long.
It might not.
I think they kept most of those people alive. They have the king running Commonwealth now.
Yeah.
He's the governor. They have Mercer. Carol decided to stay. I think they kept people around just in case they had to come back.
Right.
Just in case these other shows are not hitting how they want them to hit. They're like, oh, well, we always bring back The Walking Dead and put them all back together.
Yeah, just like the Halloween movies. Or The Walking Dead will come back without the. It would just be called Walking Dead. Dun, dun, dun. And it will be like more serious, more raw.
Yeah, right. But just to go back to the dislike, yeah, they kept placing people in the hospital because, like I said, they killed. As soon as the zombie broke in, they killed Glenn again. And then when all the commotion happened, they was running. All of a sudden, a tall black guy, a dude taller than.
Did he die?
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he was so effing tall. It was like,
yeah.
You're too tall to be an extra, dude. We noticed you right away.
Like, we noticed you right away. How come we didn't notice you before? Inside this same small room?
Right.
But now, if it's time to run, it's time for somebody to die. It was probably like 3 extras they brought in there.
Yeah.
The tall black guy, a really short
oh yeah, because I was
lady.
like, is that a kid? But Gary's
Yeah.
like, no, I think it was just a short person.
It was just a short lady.
But and that's the thing, when you're gonna bring extras in, and you kind of want them to just kind of blend in. They have to be people, unfortunately, that you can't have someone super short, you can't have someone super tall, you can't have someone wearing a hat like a main character. Like, they just have to really blend in. They're supposed to be extras.
But yeah, they have to blend in. But I think they would have blended in if we would have saw them come in together. Like, we never saw them come in. They were never in the little emergency room, whatever that room was.
Well, I call bullshit that they made it inside anyways. All those people should have died, Gary. All those people, when they saved Daryl and Judith last week, when they let them go, and then, and the rest of them looked like they were, oh no way to get out. It should have been no way to get out. Like, it should have been like, oh no, we just lost 10 main, or main or semi-main characters all at once.
That would have been dope.
Yeah, there was no way they should have made it.
And now, getting away from that dislike of them just bringing in extras to die, another dislike of mine was our people reappearing together. Like it's a video game and we're just showing up. Like, we had Mercer, the King, and whoever was with that group. Or Aaron. They call it with Aaron.
Yeah, they call it with Aaron now.
So we had that group, and they're on the other side of the town. They're not in the hospital where Daryl and everyone else is at.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, it goes to a commercial break.
Cut 2. Yeah, because we rewinded it. Like, we're like, wait, what did we miss? And we had to rewind it. We're like, did we miss it? We're like, no.
Yeah, we had to rewind that a couple of times to see how did they get together. And The Walking Dead just was like, fuck you. We're not. It don't matter how they got together. We're not explaining ourselves. They're together now. When we went to commercial, one group was in this area, the other group, they didn't even show how Daryl and them got out of the hospital.
Yep.
They just showed them running with extras. And then cut to the Rosita part.
Yeah.
Commercial break. And now they're all together.
Yeah. The thing is, what they should have been doing is they should have been hiring extras. Like, we want you here for this many weeks, for, the next 5 episodes or whatever. Because I feel like each day they just had different extras. Like, they probably shot this scene multiple times, and if it was on different days, it could have been a different extra. Like, it wasn't consistent. These people were just like, yeah, sure, I have nothing to do today. I'll come today. Oh, but no, I can't make it tomorrow. So, like, they may or may not have been in the scene. Whichever one got picked. Whatever scene was final. Yeah,
maybe. I just think The Walking Dead just did a messed up job of just making sure we knew they were in the scene.
Yeah. Well, because we didn't see the black guy after that. I never saw him.
Never saw him again.
A tall black guy again.
We only saw him during the run.
Mm-hmm.
After they killed Glenn, everybody ran.
He was on set that day. The black guy was on set.
And then we saw the black guy, the short lady, and then I can't remember. It was another person.
A white lady, and the one that got pulled out, she was fine because she didn't have any features or anything that remind you. Even though you did say, who is she?
Yeah, she wasn't fine because she wasn't in the scene.
Yeah, Gary was like, wait, who is she? I'm like, I don't recognize her.
So they brought her in the scene. They just placed her in the scene just to die.
Yeah, she might have been a producer.
Because as soon as the walkers opened the door, they just grabbed her and pulled her out. Yeah. Like, what was she trying to do? Was she there blocking the door? Right. Was she trying to, like, what was she there doing when she wasn't beside the door before that? Because remember, beside the door, it was Kelly.
Yeah.
It was Connie there?
Connie was there.
All right. So it was Kelly, Connie, and there was someone, it was three people. Yeah, it was three people by the door that we knew.
Oh, no, Yumiko wasn't there. Magna
was there. Mm-hmm. So it was people by the door that we knew. But when the door opened, they just grabbed the extra and pulled the extra out. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, the extra wasn't there. And then when they started running, those extras wasn't there.
Right.
So they brought them on just to run, just in case they had to kill somebody. Yeah. They would be there to kill.
Give me 5 people. I need 5 heads. 5 heads. Doesn't matter. Just 5 heads. And they're like, hey, you, tall one. You short one. Yeah. They just grabbed random people. But, okay.
Which I'm not mad at the extras to people because, I mean, make your money. Do your thing.
No, I'm not mad at the extra. I'm mad at the show for not, being a little more
whoever directed, they should have did a better job.
Yeah. It's those small details that people are looking for.
Right. So. But this wasn't even small. This was in our face.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking that, people have been talking about a few different, I think there was a Bernie, someone was talking about, it was like a black lady that used to be on The Walking Dead. Didn't really have any much talking points, but we saw her a lot. Shasta's Shasta's real husband in real life. Remember, he left to go with the show that she went on to, the Star Wars show, Star Trek. But there's been some consistent extras that we've had for years.
Which I wouldn't even consider Sasha's husband.
His name was Scott on the show, I think.
Yeah.
Because he was sort of more than... Well, that's what I mean. These extras should be extras that we recognize.
Right.
Yeah,
if they're going to have someone die, they could have brought him to kill him off.
Yeah.
Because we know him.
Like, we know that face.
We know him. He had speaking roles.
I think he left when Shasta left. He was there for a little bit later.
He was there.
A little bit longer.
He was there.
Until they were able to secure him a job on the new Star Trek show.
So you know what? I didn't know he went to the new Star Trek show. I just knew he just disappeared.
Yeah, because I watched a little bit of the Star Trek show when it first came out, and he was there. I don't know if he still is or if the show's still on, but he was. I could have sworn I saw him there.
Yeah, because they didn't bring him back. Struggle Braids, we haven't seen him again.
Braids, so much.
Which, I mean, they definitely should have ended with him.
Yeah, they could have ended with. They really could have did a lot more. Like, I could have seen this going a lot differently than what it did, but.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that they rushed it. Or they spend too much time trying to explain the Commonwealth to us. I think that's where most of their dollars went.
Yeah.
The last couple of seasons.
A lot of good episodes were wasted, I see.
Yeah, which was trying to explain the Commonwealth to us. Did we even have to go through the trial? They could scratch that.
Yeah,
they could have scratched the trial. There's a lot of things, which, you know what? We spoke about it. The what ifs.
Yes.
We are going to come back with a podcast, the what ifs on The Walking Dead.
Yeah. That would be fun. Like, what if Shane never died? How would it be? What if this?
Okay. Or things what if? Things they could have left off.
Right.
And gave us more of something else.
What if Lizzie never killed her sister? They'd be badass right now. I bet Judith
would
look up to him.
Yeah. They were badass then.
Yeah. All right, let's go through them because we got about 10 more dislikes. First of this last ones is Lydia, like them acting like Lydia didn't just lose an arm. Like, they're acting like it was a scratch. And it's like, even when she went and hugged Elijah later, and I'm like, wouldn't she not only be in, like, physical pain, but emotional, like, to actually comprehend that I lost an effing arm because a zombie freaking bit it? Like...
Yeah, it's no way that she would have been around helping them. She was moving barrels with that one arm, knocking barrels over. Like, they should have gave her a rest period.
Yeah, they
gave her the day off or something.
In the bed, laying down, resting.
That's it.
Because
in order for her to feel better, how she looked, I mean, she would have had to be on all kind of medications. Mm-hmm. So there's no way she would have been functional in that part anyway. But this is just a show. Yeah. It's a show, so we're not going to go too deep into that. But I mean, let's say the healing time for losing an arm is 8 weeks. They should have gave her at least 4 weeks to rest.
Yeah.
It is a zombie apocalypse. You can't rest the whole 8 weeks.
True. All right, Judith telling Daryl that she is sorry she didn't tell him about Michonne looking for work earlier because she was scared he would leave too and go look for them. The reason I didn't like this is because I'm two things. I was thinking, wait, they don't know where Michonne went? Like, this whole time Judith's been keeping that secret? I thought they knew. And then second, after she tells him something like, I didn't want to tell you because I thought you would leave too. And then literally that's exactly what Daryl does at the end of the episode. He literally leaves too. And he's like, I'll be back. She's like, I understand. Like, damn, y'all done. Actually, this is another dislike, but I'll just talk about it now. But y'all, they have really fucked over Judith and RJ. Talking about like childhoods, not having trauma. Maybe Aaron should be raising them because they keep getting shuffled from adult to adult. This adult, no, this adult, no, this adult will take. I mean, she was just calling Daryl dad last week, but now she did call him Uncle Daryl.
Well, she when she called him dad, it wasn't like she was actually calling him dad. I mean, she got shot. She was, what would you call it?
In shock.
In shock, yeah. She was in shock, and she just woke up and said dad. But I don't think that she actually thought Daryl was her dad. I mean, I think she actually thought that, but not Daryl. She didn't think it was Daryl. She probably thought, actually her dad.
Yeah.
Damn, that was hard to explain. Just that little bit, right there. I had a brain freeze trying to explain that one.
Yeah, no, I get it. All right, Gabriel walking up to the gate afterwards. This whole scene, I didn't like it because, like, I hate the slow walk when he was like walking up to the gate and they're like, freeze. He's like, anyone touches me, I'll kill him. I'm like, why are you walking up to the gate like we're not in an emergency?
Like people not about to die on the other side.
Die right now. Like, it was just like, what? And then even like them going back and forth, Daryl going back and forth with his speech to Pamela, like, which, although I will say I did like what he said when he was like, the problem is you guys built the new world the same as the old. And I did like him saying that. And even later on when Pamela's explaining, like, how are you going to divide stuff up? And it's like, we can, there's ways to do that. You know, like, okay, you might have a good house, but you have, I don't know, better shift. Or there's a way, or maybe you can do a real lotto on, you know, what people's needs are. Yeah. So,
I mean, there's ways to do it. She just didn't want to do it.
Yeah. It was going to take work and may end up being she doesn't get the good house. Like, she should never had that big old estate down there. It was ridiculous.
I don't agree with that. I don't disagree with you, but I don't agree with that part that she should have never had it. She was a governor.
That's true.
There's a way that you will want people to look at you. Like if you're in power, you want people like, okay, yeah, that's the governor's mansion. You know, I understand who that is. Like if the government, people don't respect people who's living like they live in.
That is true. People.
Like if I'm living in the brownstone projects of in those the towers, the project towers, man, picture me seeing the governor walk out the house next to me or walk out the apartment next to me.
I would think that they were doing what they were elected to do, which is, you know, make change, live within the community and stuff like that. Like, I know that's not what people like, and even like the whole celebrity culture around it, rich and, you know, whatever. I got the gold, the gleam, the fancy. I get that, but me personally, I would have liked seeing my governor live like in the community with the neighborhood or something. Well,
it has to be a median because you're not just the governor over the projects. Like you're not just the governor over the estates.
That is true.
So there has to be a medium somewhere in there where people feel comfortable, where everybody can feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Come and talk to you or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's why I said a lottery. Like, I get if it's okay, the governor lives there and she lives there for as long as she's governor, kind of like the White House or something. But maybe they would, who else got those houses? Like people that had money versus they could have did something more like the lottery where everyone has a chance to get a nice house. And, you know.
That's what we was talking about last episode when I was saying, how are they going to kill off the working class? Like, if they kill off the working class, which we saw the doctor was on the doctor was on the side with Pamela.
Yeah.
They had to get him and bring him back but most of the working class, you're killing off. So that means if you're going to rebuild, you're going to have to turn into the working class. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like, well, it's not almost. She didn't think it out correctly. She didn't think out like, man, everybody on this side over here that we're trying to protect, these are basically weaklings to the zombie apocalypse.
Right.
They're not going to be any help for me because one thing we saw is the people of the Commonwealth can't fight. That's why they had the stormtroopers to protect them. Mm-hmm. But you had the stormtroopers out there, like half of your stormtroopers out there, still trying to find Daryl in them. Right. Which didn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm. Next is Pamela going up to the gate. And, well, two of it. Her going up to the gate to the walkers, like, almost get bitten by a walker. And then the second part is it being Hornsby. Like, they do this so many times where you see a walker come out and it's like, oh, no. Like, even when Sophia died, no, she's the last walker out of the barn. Like, they always make it a big, look who's coming. Oh, no, I shot them. The person that almost killed me. So I didn't like that Hornsby was, like, at front and center of the gate. Like, I didn't like that.
Right, unless he was a variant.
Yes.
They should have had him
climbing.
climbing.
He was a variant.
They should have had him climbing the gate.
But hopefully he was not, because he still did have, like, the arrow that Daryl shot him in, which I saw a lot of people did like that. But I also didn't like the fact that she went up there to, like, get, what? Like, now you're about to kill yourself by a zombie? That doesn't make any sense.
All right, this is a two-parter for me. Because all of it wasn't a dislike. A lot of it made sense. Like, well, her seeing Hornsby, I don't like that like you didn't like that. Mm-hmm. But her actually going up to the gate, which now makes sense why she went up to the gate. Because I was thinking she went up to the gate because, she didn't want to go to prison. She actually wanted to kill herself.
Right.
Which that was Negan was saying. Negan said that, hey, they got her in
prison
cuffs.
Be worse
it's
than
worse than
death.
Yeah, worse than death. Like, she wouldn't want prison.
Right.
Like, he knew he didn't want prison. Mm-hmm. So I'm not mad at her for going there to try to kill herself. I'm kind of mad at them not stopping her. Everybody sat there and just watched her. Like, did everybody recognize that was Hornsby? I mean, this dude looked dead. It was a dead guy.
Yeah.
Dead guy with it. I know Daryl, and Daryl shot him. He knew it was. Like, oh man, that's my arrow.
Yeah. I didn't recognize it. I recognized him, but I didn't know who. I had to look it up. I'm like, who is that guy? I'm like, I recognize him. Like a
Carol, Daryl, and Pamela. Those should have been the only people that recognized him.
Right.
Everyone else shouldn't have watched her walk up to the gate. Like, it took Negan talking sense to Maggie for Maggie to shoot him. Like, no, you're not getting off that easy. Mm-hmm. You are going to prison. We got you in handcuffs. That's where you're going to be. You're going to be in chains.
Oh, and Judith encouraging her, it doesn't have to be this way, Pamela. Like, what the hell, Judith? You just got shot. What are you doing right here? Like,
like, what are you doing? That's what I'm saying. Like, Judith deserved to pass that day.
Yes. What you guys got her out here for?
I mean, she just got shot. Lydia deserved to pass that day. There's a couple of people that didn't have to be out there.
Yeah.
First of all, we were already mad that Judith was there in the first place. Mm. Like, she's a child.
Yeah.
They should have never allowed her to come with them. And now this child got shot, and you haven't learned your lesson yet.
And Pamela's the one that shot her, and then they're like, and then they have the child that got shot by Pamela. Like, I hate when they just try to, like, they make it seem like good people always have to just, the only way to be good, truly good, is that you always have to just be the better person or rise up above all the bullshit. Like, forgive your enemies. And, like...
Well, I don't know if she knows who shot her.
Because, she has to know. They've been talking about, she shot a child.
Well, they said that. But remember, she didn't know what happened to her.
Oh, that's true.
When she woke up in the hospital, she's like, what's wrong? What happened?
Mm-hmm, that's true.
I don't feel like... What she said? She said, I don't feel like I'm going to survive or something. Or I feel like I'm dying.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, they shouldn't have had her there. That was another bad call by Daryl. Daryl's not fit to be a father.
Not at all. No, I think her saying, Daryl, you deserve to have a future too. Like, what? This is a little kid. Like, what does she know about that?
No, but I mean, I actually agree with that part, and I agree with her, and I love that part. Like I said, I love their interaction together. But... And I'm not taking anything away from Daryl, because Daryl did a damn good job with her, especially at the Commonwealth, and made sure they got off to school, did everything there. Mm. But you can tell that Daryl's not their biological. Because, when the kids not actually your biological, you feel, they can come with you when you go to war.
Sure, kid. Come on.
Come on, kid.
That's messed up.
Because everybody no one will let their child go out there.
Yeah.
No, not at that age.
Gracie. We never see Gracie out
Gracie
there.
never come out there.
Or RJ, really.
Yeah, we wouldn't expect to see none. But, like I said, Daryl, he has done a great job. excellent job, take care of him. But he dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah.
Like, we're about to go into gunfire.
Right.
We're about to go to war.
You just got shot. I'm going to bring you back again after I let you come the first time and then you got shot. I'm going to bring you back again.
Bring it back.
Hours after you
like, what if she got shot again?
Right. I would explain that to Rick and Michonne if they ever come back. All right, just a few more. I'm going to run through them quickly. The whole plan was confusing, like with them deciding to blow up the place. I don't get why they decided to blow up the place versus just like treading the bike walkers somewhere else. Just like how they ushered them there, they could have ushered them away instead of blowing up that whole area.
Yeah.
Those were good houses that they could have lived in.
Yeah.
So I didn't agree with that plan. And then it's like, where did they get all this stuff from? And then no one accidentally got hurt. You're not doing all this fuel and fire and whatever it is to make all that blow up and no freak accident happened because they're not pros. None of them know what they're doing technically. So I just thought the plan went off too perfectly is what I felt.
Yeah, somebody knew what they was doing.
Yeah, somebody.
They created the bomb out of a record player. You had to be an
right.
expert. Had to be an expert somewhere.
Who was that? That must have been Eugene.
Right.
Judith staring off, like realizing that Rosita got bit, but it's like how? Like, so when it showed Rosita whispering to Gabriel and telling him, and then they're like holding her hand, if you show it's panned over to Judith staring off and like her expression changes and she kind of looks sad. And I didn't know what it was watching, but then everyone on Twitter was like, oh, it's because Judith realized that's when Rosita died. And I was like, wait, that's what happened? How did she get that out of that conversation? If I'm over there, I'm just watching two people talk and I see them whisper to each other and someone put their hand over, I'm not gonna be like, oh, one of them are about to die. Like, even if I was in the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, wouldn't put two and two together.
And as a kid, I wouldn't think anything. I would
Especially
be like,
a Rosita, like, why would she even be back here if she got bit?
Right, I wouldn't have even thought that.
Yeah.
Because what is she doing here chilling with us after she just got bit?
Yeah, like, Rosita, she's a pro. she knew how to come back here.
Not only that, Rosie was eating dinner and all I thought was, we don't have extra mouths to feed. Like, you should have missed this meal. Like, honestly, she should have definitely missed this meal. I was like, that's all I thought.
Oh, my goodness.
I thought that when they were eating dinner.
Yo, you are Pamela.
I'm just saying, like, if you're about to die tomorrow, and we got 10 mouths to feed.
You know what kind of governor my baby be. She is a Pamela. Hold up, Rosita, what you doing over there? Like, you better put that food down.
Put that food down. Don't get you no seconds. Don't be getting no good water either. Get the contaminated water. You know?
It don't matter what water you drink now.
It don't matter what water you drink. Just go and drink some soda. Drink some pop. Whatever. All right. Okay, I already said this, but no, I didn't. I actually, because I thought it was the fall, but because I saw Gabriel's name. But I'm gonna say this: it's Rosita, Gabriel. I put, is Gabriel Rosita's man or not? Because his goodbye to her was just as bland as their relationship / their chemistry. He literally picked up Coco and said, "We'll see you again someday." Like, my dude, are you my man? Like, are you Like, I thought he was taking Coco to bring her somewhere else. And then when Eugene came in the room and sat down, I'm like, okay, I know Pastor Gabriel's coming back. Like, literally, if that's your man, he should be there with your dying words.
Like, Pastor Gabriel already prayed for. I agree with you. I'm just going back through the scene. Mm-hmm. Pastor Gabriel already prayed for. You know, he by her side, he prayed for her. And I guess that's how they try to show his faith. His faith is, death is a natural thing.
Yes. So
just let's pray, and let's pray that, you know, we're basically praying that you go to the right place after death. I'm assuming, like in the Christian religion. But I do agree with you, because when he just grabbed the baby and say, "We'll see you again," he should just grab the baby to take the baby somewhere else. Right. He should have been the one. Or him and the baby should have sat right there.
Oh, yeah. Him and the baby. Well, I even thought, I'm like, okay, I get why they chose Eugene because of their special relationship. I do get that. But
you know
that's
they
her man.
Don't have a special relationship.
Yeah, it was more of a creepy relationship that they sort of turned into like, oh, like, you know, we're great friends. But he's done a lot of foul shit to Rosita.
Yeah, their relationship, they just met while they were on the road. Mm-hmm. So they met on the road. She didn't really know him because Eugene told him all type of lies and everything. So Eugene wasn't who Eugene is now when she met him. Also, Eugene went to Negan And that's after he killed, what is the guy's name? I had his name on the tip of my tongue, but I can't, Abraham. Although her and Abraham weren't together at the time.
Right.
Because Abraham didn't know there was other bad women out there. But, I mean, it's still a relationship that they had. So you seeing that the person who was with you during this time and was with the person, Abraham, who got killed, and now they go and they're on Negan's side.
Right.
So
right.
it's I mean, so I don't understand.
And the person that killed that killed Abraham as well. Like, he went to the side of the person that killed.
That's what I just said.
Oh, okay.
I probably explained it wrong. That's probably another one of me explaining wrong.
Okay, my bad.
But that's what I was saying, that he went to the side of the person who killed his friend.
Right, right.
So that's another kind of wrinkle in their relationship. Plus, I mean, you never really saw them around each other. Their relationship wasn't like that, where he's the last person. Although, yeah, they came together. They were introduced to us together, but that doesn't mean that their relationship was built, that he should have been the last person. The last person that should have been with her should have been Gabriel.
I would have respected it with Gabriel and Ezekiel, Gabriel and Eugene, but
yeah,
I would have been fine with the both of them holding her hand. And like you said, Coco would have been a fine addition. She was too young to remember, but I get them not wanting to be. Well, they were gonna have to kill her right after, so I get them not wanting, maybe taking her out of the room. But that goodbye was just so bland.
You could take her out of the room after she's dead. Like,
That's
she was
true.
still alive.
Yeah, she's not gonna die.
So why not to her last breath be holding her daughter's hand?
Yeah, I agree.
Because we know she's not going to just. Well, we don't know. The Walking Dead doesn't have any rules.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, we know she's not just going to die and just change right back.
Yeah, unless they wanted it for the story's sake. All of a sudden she changes right as she turns, yeah.
Right, because that's another thing we've been seeing over the years. And we finally got an explanation during Fear of why some change faster than others. And it was dealing with, like, the body weight, the size of the person. It was a few different things. It was a science to it. But we know in the past that when somebody died, like what's her name? Audrey or Andrea?
Andrea.
Mm-hmm. You know, it took a while. No, was that her sister who died?
Both. But
who died and it just took overnight.
Yeah.
It was like the next morning before she changed. It was a full 24 hours, it seemed like.
Right.
So yeah.
I thought Rosita still looked pretty tired. I mean, Rosita's just the lady that plays the Rosita. She's just super pretty. So even when she looks like she's dying, because Gary's like, "No, look at her." I'm like, "Yeah, that's Rosita. She looks bad. She's just so pretty."
Well, the thing is, good. Rosita was bit, and we've seen this before with somebody who's been bit. You see them; they go through their fever stage where they're just sweating. They have a fever. We're trying to keep them cool and everything. Keep a warm rag or a cold rag over them. We've seen that before, but Rosita just died peacefully.
Well, okay, that goes back to what I just said, that Rosita is pretty, and the fact that she is sort of like, quote unquote, the pretty face of the show, not to be mean and say anything that's sexist or anything like that, but she is sort of like the pretty, like oh, she's so pretty, you know, she's like the catch or whatever. So with that being said, and how they do women actors, at least I see on TV shows and movies, even like if the women, like think of all Angelina Jolie's movies when she's doing all this action, she's fighting, hair is not out of place. Even if it's out of place, it's like, oh, cute, it's out of place, so simple, I'm just the girl next door look. Like, she's just always pretty, even when she's doing all these fighting scenes and getting beat up. And I feel like they sort of kept that with Rosita. Like, they're not going to they might damp her up a little, where, you know, she's a little damp, but they're not going to sweat her up and make her look all gross and wet and, gross, because that's not what she is.
But they should have. And I agree with you. She is pretty, so it's kind of hard to ugly that up. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, so is all the other women in the cast. I mean, this is a good-looking cast of, of everybody and the women. Yeah. So they should have did something that made sense. And what would have made sense is her going through the stages. Anyone else who got bit would have went through. Yeah. Like, it's no just, I'm tired now. Let me die now. Yeah. That's what it was. It was like, here, take the baby. Eugene, you my boy. I'm about to die now.
She was a little damp, but yeah, I get it, because you were like, no, she look perfectly fine. She don't look like anything's wrong. I'm like, no, that is like an 8 compared to what Rosita is normally at. So
yeah, but I mean, they have to have some kind of standard how things are going, how things should be.
They could have sweated her out, and then they still could have kept it like quote unquote sexy by having her in like a little tank top. You know, so even if
forget all that. You just talk about the looks and everything.
I'm telling you, that's what was important to them. If they really like wanted her, like, you know, have like still pretty, they could have had her in a little tank top because she's hot, because she's sweating, but then still had the sweat. Like they could have did more and still kept the she's cute look.
Yeah, they should have just kept the same energy that they usually keep, because I mean, it wasn't like, you know, she was on her, she got bit. Mm-hmm. That's what, and they should have kept it more. I got bit level,
right?
Like you seen other people that got bit. Like what is the guy who was sweating hard?
The guy that they left on the side of the road or under the tree from season 1. Bob also got bit, and I believe he was sweaty. Did Sasha get bit?
Yeah, and you have Sasha got bit also, but she just died instantly.
Oh,
no.
She took that pill.
She didn't get. Yeah, she took the pill. But I mean, everyone else we seen in that situation, it's almost like The Walking Dead forgets. They're forgetting a lot these days. They're forgetting how the last death was that this happened to. They're forgetting who was all in the scene when the scene happened, because you know they forget what this part of the group was doing beforehand. Because there's a lot of things that they brought up this episode, or this episode went like nothing happened the last episode.
Right.
Like it's like they just forgetting a lot of things, and that could be a problem with maybe having, you know, somebody different directing each episode.
Yeah, that is true. But it should be a showrunner that's like, I don't know, they should have someone that's like keeping track of all that.
Yeah, just keeping track. And it looks like, and we've always said this, we've always said that Walking Dead, they do things and they like, they don't care if we get it, don't get it.
Yeah.
They don't care if it don't make any sense.
Yeah.
They're like, yo, F you. Yo, just watch.
Yeah.
That's it.
And seeing all the tweets, I mean, I knew Walking Dead was big, but seeing all the tweets last night, this show is big. Like, it is huge. Seeing how much it's touched people, it means a lot because, yeah, I mean, The Walking Dead, I remember when we first started podcasting on The Walking Dead, I was talking about, like, every time the trailer came on for the new season, I would get so excited. Like, I remember those feels. I haven't had those feels in a while, but...
Yeah, it's been a while.
I remember those feels and like the Terminator. I just remember it all. So, but it was good seeing how much like the fans have stuck with the show for so long. Because I didn't like I hear so much negative stuff now about The Walking Dead online that last night I was so surprised to see how many people it touched and like they were so excited. So, all right, 4 last quick dislikes. Michonne and Rick's little montage at the end, I thought it was whack and corny. I didn't really like it. Like, it was just all, literally, watch. When the show comes out, this is going to be, like, the first 2 minutes of the show. Like, it just felt like they plopped it into the episode. It didn't flow because they plopped that in and then went straight back to the final scene of Judith and RJ. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
That didn't even mix in good.
It didn't mix good. Now, I'm going to tell you another reason it didn't mix good. The situation we saw. When we saw... they both was like, Rick was writing the letter, Michonne was reading the letter, and it seems like her letters was to the kids
and his was to her. Yeah.
Right. But in that scene right there, it shows both of them have the backpack with the boots in it. Mm-hmm. You know, both of them have
different times.
So it's different times.
Yeah.
But we know that she didn't find the backpack on the boat or find a backpack there. Mm-hmm. Man, it was like in an inventory thing where she found, you know, it's like a shelf inventory where she found the stuff at, the boots and everything. So it's like The Walking Dead forgot about that shit too.
I'm gonna excuse it because maybe they'll show us Virgil, since that's another loose end. We looked it up because we discussed what happened to Virgil.
So you think that when he threw his bag, which could have,
yeah, because he threw his bag, that was Virgil's island that eventually Michonne goes to, I believe.
Right. So maybe Virgil found it and Virgil put it right there.
Yeah, I need to watch that because I thought it was like on a boat or something.
But they kind of made it look like, hey, he's just setting pieces off and just tossing it there for us to find them. Mm-hmm. When, that may be the case, but she's not finding it like right after he takes it off or he did what he did. There was a whole process to where that book bag, the boots and everything got moved to another area.
Yeah, no, it definitely got moved.
And that's where she found it, in another area.
Well, what also made me not like it, since we're talking about it, is that fact that they were writing each other letters, and I feel like this is going to be a scene from like the first episode of the new show. I now feel like they probably won't be together on screen for maybe even the first season. Who knows? Because if they're writing each other letters, I think it's going to be the same show, and us getting her story of trying to find him and his story of trying to find her. Like, so, which is pissing me off even more, because the whole reason why I got excited is because we can see Rick and Michonne back on screen together, and I think that would have made me feel better if they had that scene. But I know, and the reason why they didn't have a scene with them together, I feel, is because they may not even get together on screen for a while on the new series, and they wouldn't be able to show us a scene from that without spoiling it really big time. I don't know if that was clear what I just said, but that's what I feel why they showed what they showed. Because even Michonne and Rick won't be together. Yeah.
But I think all the shows today, what they should have did, well, they should have just sold us to probably HBO.
5 good 6 seasons ago. Man, they should have sold Walking Dead to AMC, to HBO, excuse me, like, actually from day one, because we would have got a lot more. Well,
at least during this last season, because it seems like they may be splitting the show up like this with different people going. I mean, there's not going to be, they're going to have different names, but these are not going to be different shows.
Yeah, it's really just The Walking Dead.
It's just The Walking Dead with, you go see these characters on this show, these characters on this show, the characters over here. Mm-hmm. But if they would have moved it to HBO, or HBO. I'm about to say or Showtime, but yeah, HBO. If they would have moved it to HBO a while ago, they would have got to do everything they wanted to do in that time frame, because no commercials.
Right.
They able to show more.
Yeah, and they would have had a bigger budget probably.
Right, because if you think about it, what is this, an hour show?
Yeah, but it was a little over an hour this time.
But no, it was probably just an hour this time.
Oh, because of all the commercials.
All these damn commercials. Yeah. So it's really like maybe a 35, 40-minute show if you look at it without the commercials. So I think if they would have just went ahead and just moved it on to another network, a cable network, then they would have been able to do, it wouldn't seem this rushed. They would have been able to do with everything, like Game of Thrones. We saw they were somewhere different, like every damn episode.
Right.
Not the House of Dragon. I'm talking about the Game of Thrones. Like in one episode, they could be at the Night Watch. They could be at Castle Rock or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all over the place. Which, if this was a cable series, they wouldn't have to split it up this much, because they could show us multiple places. Yeah, they could show this is what Rick and them doing. This is what Maggie and Negan doing. This is what's going on at the Commonwealth now.
Right.
They would have been able to show this. Now it feels like everything's rushed. They try to fit it in there, and this was like a open-ended closing.
Yeah. I would have liked if they had skipped all the Woodbury stuff and like just got these last several episodes of us finally just seeing peace. Our people live among each other, then make up new rules, then go out and find new people, but like just no villains. Like it could have been no villains this last half for me personally, and I would have been fine with just seeing what leads our people on the new roads.
You know what? I don't mind the villains, because we have to have a reason for the split up. They should have just did a better job with each. They should have just utilized each episode better.
Yeah.
Because there were some episodes that we just watched and just looked at each other like, man, I don't even want a podcast on this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just threw this right here together. It seemed like there was a lot of filler episodes, and it wasn't only this half of the season or part of the season. It was the last part of the season.
Right.
The last season they just threw fillers in there or stuff in there that they never brought back or they can't explain.
Yeah.
So they should have did a much better job utilizing each minute, each second they had of the show, especially it being the series finale.
No, I agree. All right, Michonne's outfit. Literally, when it first saw Michonne, I was like, what is this? I literally thought, like, I'm like, did they just throw in a trailer for Black Panther? I was so confused. And then I'm like, oh no, this is The Walking Dead. I'm like, well, then what does she have on? Like, where did she get the outfit from?
Yeah, she had a little nice outfit on.
Yeah.
It looked like a Wakanda outfit.
It did look like a Wakanda outfit. And that's why I was like, wait, they really trying to show us Wakanda right now during this. And you know what? That was actually a missed opportunity. I don't think they played any. I mean, I know Black Panther's been out for a week or so, but they didn't play any trailers for Black Panther, did they? You'd think they would. Since Michonne's in it.
I think they played the trailer for it.
Okay, yeah. I
do
usually ignore
remember.
the commercials, so.
I've been seeing not the Walking Dead. I've been seeing the Black Panther trailers everywhere.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure they played it during this episode.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a missed opportunity if not. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure everyone who watches Walking Dead knows that Michonne is on Wakanda or Black Panther. All right, Michonne riding towards the walkers. Once again, I didn't really like this scene either because it kept going to Rick, to Michonne, Rick, Michonne. And it looked like Michonne was looking at Rick about to get taken. Like, at least that's how I pictured it. Like, as it showed her staring off, I was like, she sees Rick, the helicopter over Rick, trying to take him. And then it's two completely different scenes, has nothing to do with each other. And she's like riding towards a herd of walkers.
Well, this is almost the last scene we've seen with her. I'm not talking about this episode. I mean, when we saw her before, in the last episode we saw her in, remember, she looked down the hill and she looked like at walkers. It was just like almost the same scene.
It was just like this then.
It felt like the same scene.
Okay, I'm going to have to go back to that.
Except I don't remember her having an outfit or the horse.
Yeah, I was like, oh, she definitely didn't have an outfit on.
Or stuff. But, yeah, I think they just basically took her where she left off last time we saw her. Was looking down the hill at all those walkers or people. Like, I can't tell whether they're walkers or they're people walking or what they are. But, yeah,
it definitely made it seem like walkers. But I'd be surprised if it was people.
Yeah. I don't see why she would ride toward the walkers.
Well, that's why I'm wondering.
And not around. Too. So I'm thinking it could be people. It might be people. But then again, who knows? Unless
she's about to bring the biggest horde to go save Rick. She's running up to him so then they can follow her. All right, last dislike. And that's them at the end. They kept saying, we're the ones who live. We're the ones who live. We're the ones. Like, it was creepy, culty, and then also kind of insensitive to, like, all the friends and family that they've lost. Like, well, we're the ones that were supposed to live, not y'all.
Well, they had some of them. They had Glenn say, we're supposed to live. We're supposed to live.
They had him say it or just showed him?
He said it.
Oh, okay.
They showed it. They showed a couple of dead people that we lost.
Oh, actually moving their mouths, talking?
Yeah, saying it.
Okay. I missed that. I just thought it was like showing a montage of like all of them. But yeah, I don't know. I just still didn't like that.
Some of it was montage, but some of it was people actually saying that.
Okay. Yeah, because at the end, when it goes back after the Rick Michonne montage, it goes back and Judith and RJ are standing there and she goes, we're the ones who's supposed to live. I'm like, that sounds so creepy. It just creeped me out, all of them saying it. I didn't like it.
It does, but that's what we were talking about earlier. It makes sense to me that, these are the ones, they were all so skilled. People that are good at surviving don't think they're supposed to die. Like, there could have been something else that could have took them out and they wouldn't expect it because they survived this long. Like, sometimes, being so good at something can be your downfall.
Sure. All right, you guys, we are going to have one more episode after this, which is going to be our top 5 favorite deaths or just the craziest deaths.
Well, we're going to have a couple more shows after this. Because we want to have our top 5 and then we're going to have the what ifs.
The what if, yeah. But so the top 5, we'll do that next weekend or this upcoming weekend after Thanksgiving.
It'll be up.
Yeah.
Probably. When should we do it?
I would say turn everything in by Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. Because then we'll probably...
Yeah, stick to the podcasting schedule.
Oh, so the whole next week.
So let's just... next Tuesday.
Okay. Tuesday after Cyber Monday. Whatever date that is. 28, 29, somewhere around there.
Right. Let's just record Tuesday evening.
Okay. And then the following week we'll do the what if, but we'll remind you guys of that once we start.
Right.
All right, so we do have an email from Chantel. Remember, our email is dead@theverdictsend.com. That's dead@theverdictsend.com. You can also hit us up on Twitter or Facebook at The Verdicts End. All right, Chantel wrote, wow, wow, wow. I knew they would break my heart and try to put it back together again. For the first time ever, I did not take notes while watching. I hope to watch a second time to take notes, but as we all know, adulthood sucks and I couldn't make a second watch happen. How the two of you do it every week is beyond my comprehension. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard when you don't want to watch because you're like, you just want to chill and do something else. And then you're like, we got to go ahead and watch it again.
Yeah.
There has been times where I've took notes the first time.
Yeah.
But I usually don't.
But there's times where it's just life is happening.
Yeah, life happens. She said, this email is based on my recollection of last night's episode. There's so much to say. I will do my best to keep it brief on this, my final email. Hopefully it's not your final one. Send us your what ifs and your top deaths and everything that we discussed. If there's any top fives of anything that we didn't discuss, still send it in because...
Yeah, send your top fives.
Top fives. All right. She goes, overall, there were so many beautiful moments and so many parallels from episodes past. It was like the ultimate love letter to the fans. To those diehards who get every nuance, who understood every detail. You can tell that a lot of care was taken in crafting this finale, and I'm internally grateful. Where so many other shows have dialed in the finale, The Walking Dead mustered all they had to give us what we wanted while keeping us on simmer as we await the reappearance of Michonne.
Yeah, Chantel's definitely a writer.
She's definitely a writer. I mean,
she definitely works.
I mean, I be coming here like thinking like the episode was just okay, and then I'll read Chantel's letter and I'm like, oh, maybe I wasn't looking at it from that perspective. Like, maybe I gotta give it another watch.
Maybe I was looking through the wrong eyes.
I was looking through the wrong eyes, because like, dang, your letters, like they're a love letter to the show, because when I read them, I'm like, yeah, that was good. I didn't think about it. So, okay, let's see what she has. I'm gonna split this up a little, but it's parallels, callbacks, a homage to the past. The shot of Judith trying to hold the doors closed against the walkers reminded me of the shot of our group in the barn trying to hold the doors closed against the walkers and the storm right before they met Aaron. How poignant that Judith was the only one doing it, when in the original scene she was a tiny baby and there were so many family members there to help. Carol, Daryl, Maggie, Glenn, Abraham, Rosita, Sasha, Noah, Tara, Rick, Michonne, Carl, Gabriel, and Eugene. It really made me think of how much has actually been lost. I'm going to stop there. I like this scene. It didn't remind me of the barn, which is a good callback.
That's a good callback.
Yeah, I thought that was a good callback. But I thought it reminded me of Noah. Like when Noah got killed. Even though I know he was in a different door type. It was like, the turnstile door. I don't know. Whatever those doors are that kind of turn.
Yeah, the rotating doors.
Yeah, the rotating doors. So... I know this wasn't that, but something about walkers coming up and you're trying to push a glass door closed and they're trying to get in. I thought of Noah. And I think they were in a building like that had a lot of glass. Actually, no, they weren't. They were in a warehouse type thing. Just some reason glass is in my head. I'm thinking of
about Noah's?
Yeah.
I think they were just leaving the store, right?
Yeah, they were, because it was glass. It was like mostly glass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was the same with this.
Yeah. I start getting confused of when Diana's son died, and that was in a warehouse of some sort.
Yeah.
All right, she continues. The shot of Judith lying on the hospital floor with Daryl after she passed out totally paralleled the shot of Daryl and Beth collapsing on the floor after outrunning the walkers after the prison fell.
Yeah.
Oh. I just did a rewatch. Like, was it earlier this year?
Uh-huh.
But now hearing that, like, and I wasn't even a fan of Beth. I was on the I hate Beth train. I was not bad, but I just thought it was sad because someone died. But Beth, I never cared for Beth. But hearing you talk about Beth, it's like an OG. I feel like people can't talk about her. Only I can talk about her. She's my Beth. Like, like it's family.
Yeah, she was part of the family.
Yeah.
She was part of the group. Yeah, I never got your dislike for Beth.
I didn't dislike. I just didn't like her. That's all. But I mean, yeah, I had no problem with that.
Yeah, that means just like not liking somebody.
That's not true. That's not true. If you think about it, though, her and Maggie are so different. I mean, well, sisters, that happens, but her and Maggie are so different. Even before everything that happened with Glenn, they're just very, very different people. But all right, Daryl giving Judith blood was a callback to Rick giving Carl blood after he was shot the first time. Oh yes, I can see that scene in my head as we're talking. Like, I close my eyes. I don't even have to close my eyes. I can see Rick giving Carl the blood and how scared and everything he looked. That's a good callback. Because actually, I almost wrote that on my dislikes. I was like, how did Daryl just, like, or maybe I just don't know anything. Because all I thought is literally, if I had to, like, transfer blood to stuff, I don't know what to do. I literally have no clue. Sticking a needle in my arm and then, like, putting the needle in the other person. I don't even know. Like, so I called bullshit at first, but I was like, Nicole, don't judge Daryl just because you don't know shit. Don't mean he don't know shit. So
right. I mean right like that, but
yeah, you did. I felt that right.
Nah,
yeah, that right came from your soul, yo.
I'm just saying, I'm in the same boat just because I don't know how to do it.
Yeah,
I mean, I can judge him for it.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Daryl barricading the door to Judith's hospital room was a callback to Shane barricading the door to Rick's hospital room.
Yep.
But Daryl came back. Yep, I'm still giving Shane's old shady ass the side-eye shrugs.
I don't think what Shane did was shady either. I don't think he did. I mean, he left. He had a whole group to take care of. I think Shane did a great job, an excellent job for that the time being.
Yeah, there was no way that he would be able to carry Rick if you think about it. And he could have stayed there with Rick, but then that ultimately means Rick's family probably would have died. Like Lori would have not made it.
Right, and the people that
he ended up helping. Yeah.
And them saving.
Yeah.
Which is Glenn is one of them. What's the older guy name?
Dale.
Is it Dale? Yeah.
Dale and Carol. Carol and her. Carol. He helped a lot of people. But what I will say about this scene is when Daryl first did it, I was like, I know he's not about to leave her. And then I went through like so many emotions in a span of 5 seconds. I was like, I know he's not. Then I was like, wait, this is what Shane did. So if Daryl's doing it, he knows it's the best decision. And that's exactly what Shane did it for too. I guess I'm not going to judge him, but then I'm like, why is he leaving the blinds open? They're going to see her when they break through. At least you should have closed the blinds. So I don't know. I did enjoy the callback though. All right, next. The group running with Judith on the gurney, reminding me of everyone trying to get Maggie to Hilltop when they thought she was going to have a miscarriage. They were stopped at every turn. Our group quickly changed direction as each hallway was blocked by walkers. Took me back to the headspace and I was anxious.
I mean, as you know, we didn't like that part. That was the part where they kept throwing extras in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have anything good to really say about that part. It wasn't even an exciting run for me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it wasn't either.
Like, I was never on. Once I seen they added extras to the run,
yeah.
It was no longer, it was like the run wasn't a threat.
Yeah.
Because if the walkers were going to get anybody,
they were going to get extra.
It was going to get one of those 3 or 4 extras that was in the back.
Mm-hmm. What I thought about this scene, at least with you mentioning the callback with Maggie, it kind of reminds me even what Maggie was telling Negan. The part, she could have had a miscarriage fooling around with those saviors. Remember, the saviors kept blocking them off here and there, literally while she was almost about to have a miscarriage. Like, my baby could have some future issues or situations because of the foolery you guys were doing that night as well. Or he might have some issues. We don't know what's going on with little Herschel. Or, he might have had a difficult babyhood, infanthood, or toddlerhood. So, just reading Chantel's letter here, talking about like how she almost had a miscarriage, I thought about, Negan actually played a big, huge role in that as well. All right, she continues, Coco and the other baby in the flipped over crib with the walker grabbing at them reminded me of Tara sitting in that cage after the fall of the prison. Glenn found her sitting there and made her come with him to help him find Maggie.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that scene. I love the scene with the crib turned over. And I wonder, did the hospital staff turn the cribs over beforehand? Because some of the babies were still in the bed.
Yeah, some of the cribs were still upright.
So
I think the walker probably tried to grab the crib and it fell over. And the baby fell in. That's why the walker was now on the floor. Is because he probably fell while he was trying to get to the crib.
Yeah.
At least that's how I pictured it.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense since, all the cribs weren't turned over.
Right. So that's why that scene was so intense, because she literally made it just in time to save her baby.
Yeah.
The final dinner scene was the callback to the Sunday dinner scene Rick envisioned while Negan taunted him after killing Abe and Glenn. Yeah, that was a nice scene. I did get that callback. I was like, oh, this reminds me of that. So Daryl riding off alone at the end made me think of Beth telling him, you're going to be the last man standing. There he was, standing, riding alone.
I get what you're saying, Chantel, but it seems to me that Daryl, that was just the classic Daryl. This is what we've been seeing him do for over the years. Just ride off. He's always been a solo person. So it wasn't, seeing him ride off into the wind, it wasn't really a big deal to me, because we have seen that probably like 3 times before.
Yeah. Daryl, I think if Rick wasn't missing, and Daryl didn't have a mission, he would find something else of why.
Yeah, he still wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't there when Rick was there. Remember, he left before.
Mm-hmm. He's left several times.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that at least 3 times before I can remember him not being with the group.
You have to remember the Claim people. he fell in line with their group real quick. They didn't have a shelter or anything. They were just walking, talking about claim this, claim that. And he was able to fall in line. And, like, if they probably weren't, like, killers and rapists, he probably would have easily been able to stick with them.
Yeah.
Just on the road, only has himself take care of. Yeah.
Right.
I'm not going to say anything's wrong with it, good or bad.
Yeah, nothing's wrong with it. I was just saying that scene right there just remind me of classic Daryl.
Yeah.
Because Daryl, I mean, yeah, he's leaving and saying if he finds them, he'll be back or send them back or let them know.
Yeah.
So it never really say, like, what is your mission? You're not going out there to find them?
Yeah, you're right. Because, yeah, he made that sound like, if I do find them.
If I do find them. If they just happen to cross my path.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, Daryl is just doing Daryl again.
Right. And she says, when Maggie told Negan that all she had were memories, it made me think of Lori's conversation with Dell when she told him memories are what kept me going while questioning whether it was okay to bring a child, Judith, into its world. Lori's words were almost defiant. Maggie's were full of sorrow.
I agree. Mm-hmm. And we needed that scene because we've been discussing that for the last couple of episodes.
Yeah.
I think everyone has about, this Maggie and Negan dynamic. How's that going to work? And I'm glad to see Maggie tell him that I will never forgive you. I already have my answer.
Right.
Because what he did doesn't even compare to what he went through. Like he said, when I was on my knees crying for my family, about to lose my wife, and
right.
He didn't say kid, but you knew he wanted to say wife and kid again.
He wanted to say wife and kid so bad.
He wanted to say it. That's what he's been saying lately.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the same thing. Yeah, you feel how scared she was in the moment, but you actually went through with it. You actually killed Glenn.
And taunted the people, the any, many, miny, mo.
Right. He actually did all of that while she was pregnant. So it's not the same.
And could tell something was wrong with her. He's like, oh, she looks hurt. Maybe I should put her out of her misery. Like taunting her. Yeah. He did a lot, and I'm glad she had that conversation.
Yeah, what you went through, Negan, you were a little scared because you felt that something was going to happen to your wife and kid. But come on now, she was a little scared, and you actually went through with what you plan on doing.
Right. All right. She has Luke. Luke's death hit me so much harder than I expected it to. What a beautiful scene. And the fact that their immediate family, which is how I think of our group, one big family with smaller groups of immediate family, if that makes sense. Yes, it does. Was allowed to mourn and say goodbye. It really did something to me. I feel like the shot of Carol watching them was her being sad about Luke, but also the envy the fact that they could say goodbye in that way. If you think about it, not many in our group have had the opportunity to say a proper goodbye while the person was still alive. Andrew kind of got to do that with Amy, and they all got to sort of do that with Gail, although that was anything but peaceful. Carl and Maggie were able to have that with Lori. Rick and Michonne had that with Deanna. But every other death that I can think of was just sudden and full of trauma.
Yeah, and I don't think it's just Luke that she's sad about. I mean, she lost a child.
A couple children.
Was one biological.
Yeah.
And the other two is who she adopted. She trained them. She trained them up.
Yeah.
Like she trained them to fight. Mm-hmm. But the other two, she just took on. So she's lost a lot of people over the time. So I'm not saying it's not about Luke, but I think it's just about everyone she's lost. I wish I could think of those little girls' names.
Lizzie and like Micah or Mika, I want to say.
Lizzie, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
And then Mika, I believe, is the little sister's name. So one thing you mentioned, Chantel, I disagree with, is that our group doesn't get to say goodbye enough. Because actually, when Rosita was dying, I was like, dang, they always get to say goodbye. They always get to have their goodbyes to their people. I feel like it happens more often than not. Especially if it's a bigger character, it feels like they always get to say their goodbyes. Whereas if Rosita fell and died right then and there, to me, that tragedy would have hit harder because, one, it would have been tragic. Two, her baby as well. And three, they didn't get to say goodbye, and they actually had to see it. And to me, that would have held a little bit harder.
That would have hit hard.
Yeah. Because I feel like they say goodbye a lot to the people that die.
Well, it depends on the character. They get to say goodbye to Herschel.
No, Herschel, Governor, chopped his head off.
Well, if you think about it, she is absolutely right because they got to say goodbye to. Well, they got to say goodbye to Morgan. So they got to say bye to Morgan.
Yeah, he just dipped out.
Well, he didn't just. They had a conversation before he dipped out. He didn't just dip. But him and Rick and gang had the conversation, and Morgan said, "Hey, he just gotta go." Then he went with another group, yeah. So he really didn't have to go. But Chantel's actually right. I mean, we don't get to say goodbye enough. There's only, if you think about it, put it the way you put it, there's not that many people besides, Rosita, Carl. I can't think of anybody else that we really just got to say goodbye to. Bob. We got to say goodbye to Bob.
Tyrese.
I don't remember. I think Tyrese.
Tyrese was bitten in the arm.
But we didn't actually, as a group, got to say anything to him, though.
Yeah, I think Sasha and them did.
Well, just saying that's just basically about 4 people.
Yeah.
Compared to all the people that we lost without getting to say it. Like Glenn. No one got to say goodbye to Glenn. No one got to say goodbye to Abraham. No one got to say goodbye to Jesus. Aiden. No one got to say goodbye to. Enid. I mean, there's just a lot more of people like Merle, but nobody really care about Merle. I mean, he kind of redeemed himself. Shane, nobody really cared, but Shane kind of redeemed. But like, no one's got to say goodbye to Sasha. So I mean, you don't see it too often. If you look at all the people that has passed away.
All right, she continues. I love that Connie knew that Luke was trying to tell them to keep the music alive once he was gone. When we first met him, he talked about his belief that music was what kept humankind going and is what kept us us. He believed it so deeply that he almost lost his life trying to protect a Stradivarius from Michonne. I don't think I said that right. How fitting that music was the last thing on his mind when he passed, and how fitting that music played a part in saving the Commonwealth. I firmly believe that Luke's dying wish to keep the music going in an effort to preserve humanity played into the decision to draw the walkers toward the explosives with music. Remember, that is how they lured the Whispers and their horde away from the hospital and over the cliff. Yeah. I think that was Luke's idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I like that. That's a good analogy. Yeah, I like that. I thought that was sweet when he was like, keep the music alive. I was like, geez, he's dying, for crying out loud. All right, Rosita. I don't know how to get through this without crying. I mean, my God, I cannot. Rosita has been a badass from the beginning. She went through a phase where she was getting on my damn nerves. First when she was bitter as batshit because Abraham left her. And then when she kept being wishy-washy when communicating with Sasha about Negan. How about after Negan killed Abe and Glenn? She was reckless for a little while, but she came around. And even during her reckless time, she was valuable to the group. She was smart, she was a fighter, she was the bomb. I love seeing her run in to get her baby. The way she looked out over those walkers. Actually, let me stop there real quick before we talk about... Let's just talk about the history of Rosita. Put some respect on her name. We met Rosita back in season 3. Her little shorts, her little hat with Abraham, just having Abraham's back. Abraham did our girl wrong. He ended up getting feelings for Sasha and told Rosita, I thought you was the only girl left in the world.
Yeah, Abraham pulled some some crazy.
Oh God, yeah, he was a fuck boy in that moment. For real.
Y'all have to agree with you on that. Yeah, in that moment he was.
Yeah.
Because all he did was saw new candy.
Yeah.
a new model he haven't seen before, and went for it. He thought he was back in pre-zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. That was reckless. But I guess he felt how he felt, and yeah, he had a right to that. But Rosita even teamed up with Sasha afterwards to avenge her fuckboy's honor, and
yeah.
And so that still just shows how loyal she was.
Because if you think about it, the Abraham and Sasha really didn't make sense.
It did feel like, I remember when it happened and we were like, that feels like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it did.
We saw them talk to each other like 2 times. And twice Sasha was like in a deep depression. And once she was like coming out of her depression. And then next thing you know it, they had like a secret code talk. And she's like, well, you know what you got to do then. And I'm like, wait, what's going on?
Well, she was still in her depression when they actually started talking.
Yeah.
She was still in it. And the crazy part about it, why I say it didn't make any sense, is because these are basically 2 hurt people trying to make things work together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't do that. I mean, somebody, you got to let at least one of you heal, not both of you.
Right.
If not both of you heal, you don't even know each other. Y'all getting together based off hurtness right now.
Mm-hmm.
That she just lost somebody. You're basically a rebound, Abraham. And Abraham.
Well, she was too.
Not necessarily.
Yeah,
I can't,
he was just with
well,
Rosita.
I can't call her a rebound because he was with Rosita, because he actually just dumped Rosita just to be with her. Mm-hmm. She wouldn't have dumped Bob to be with him.
Right. Okay.
Like, she wouldn't have left Bob for him.
Right.
So it was more like a default that they got together. That Bob just happened to die, get killed, or whatever, and he was available. So I call that more of a rebound. Him going for her, he was just a fuckboy.
Right.
He just, he had something good, and some people just can't see when they have something good.
Yeah. And she was badass when she tried to shoot, or did shoot Negan, or tried to shoot him.
And they caught it with the bat.
Like, she was brave. She knew she was going to die. Like, that moment, she was like, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to die, and that's fine.
Right.
And that's when she got the scar on her face. But, yeah, R.I.P. Rosita, you were a real one.
Yeah, she was. She got with Saeed, and I could have swore that was a fake. Like, I talk real bad about Saeed.
Oh, yeah, now that we brought up Saeed, can we talk about the baby?
Oh yeah, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this black baby. let's talk about this black baby.
Yo,
Rosita,
let's just be very clear.
Saeed had.
Coco was the cutest baby.
Oh, she was super cute.
She was super cute. Every time she was on scratches, eat her up. But Coco's a black baby. Even when she was a toddler, like the year later, I'm like, that baby definitely is black. And Gary was like, did the show forget that that's not Gabriel's baby?
Right. That's what I said. The Walking Dead seems like they just be forgetting stuff and just putting stuff in different places, because that's not Gabriel's baby.
That baby is black.
That's her Rosita and Saeed's baby.
That's Rosita and Saeed's baby. But
which Rosita and Saeed made a black baby.
We was pausing. I said, me and Gary had a whole conversation about Saeed. I was like, yo, he kind of look a little black. Gary's like, no, he don't.
Saeed.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. He didn't look black. I mean, yeah, he was he had color.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that much color. It wasn't enough to make a black baby.
It was not enough to make a black baby. That is too funny. So I do agree. I think they kind of forgot that it was not, or they would think that we would forget that it was not. They just,
like I said, the Walking Dead just say fuck you sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what, deal with it.
Yeah. I was like, okay, because the baby, it was like questionable if she was black for sure. Even though you're the one that first pointed out, like, she's black. I'm like, yeah, she do look black. But then that toddler was for sure black.
Yes.
So, anyway.
So I think they probably forgot, or they was like, man, fuck y'all.
Right.
This is the baby we're going with.
We like this baby. She's so cute. So
this is it.
All right, she continues. She goes, she was the bomb. I love seeing her run in to get her baby. The way she took out those walkers was like an action movie heroine. We've seen her kick ass before. Remember, she single-handedly took down Dante's big ass after he killed old fine ass Sadiq. I still can't talk about that. I know. But that scene of her rescuing the babies was a sight to behold. And that is when I became really nervous. That was her big hero moment, so I thought she was a goner. When she went up the pole last, my heart was pounding. When she fell into the crowd of walkers, the scream I scrumped. Then she came bursting out of that pile and I started crying. I couldn't help it. I should have known then that she wasn't okay. But when she revealed the bite, it took my breath away. Then she and Eugene saying I love you to one another. Damn it, now I'm crying again. The fucking writing on this show. Whew. Yeah, when she fell down, that I was like, no. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Walking Dead is this bold. I was excited because I was like, the baby is on her. Like, oh my gosh, there's no way. So, but I was like, The Walking Dead is very bold to do this. So I was getting excited, but also sad for like Rosita, of course, because I love her.
Yeah, love Rosita. And going back to the baby, I mean, they changed the baby 3 times because the original baby looked different from the baby from this episode and the toddler.
Okay.
Like the original baby, you could tell was probably, his Hispanic. I think Saidu is either Indian or Arabian, right?
Sadiq, I'm guessing, yeah, probably. He might be Indian.
Yeah, that's the first thing I said.
Oh, okay.
Indian.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really know, but I mean, he is of color, so I don't know. But they changed the baby 3 times. Like the baby we seen in tonight's episode was not the original baby.
Okay.
The original baby could look like a Rosita and what's his name? Sadiq. I just said his name like 20 times. I just forgot it. It's that bad. That shows you how much I just didn't really care for Sadiq.
Sadiq was a fan favorite.
I mean, he just seemed like a traitor to me. He seemed like he was just trying to set us up from the get-go. Because remember when they first introduced us to him, he had the baby voice. He was like, help. I'm like, what? And then when you saw it, like, no, this is a grown man.
I know.
Like,
Gary's never trusted Sadiq over that.
Like, it's almost like he was trying to lure a kid in.
He was probably just trying to use like a non-threatening voice. He was under a stressful situation. So I get it.
Yeah, but I'm gonna show you this. This is the original baby right here.
Okay, that's more realistic. Yeah.
Yeah. So that wasn't the baby on tonight's episode, and it definitely wasn't the toddler.
Yeah.
Like I said, maybe they forgot it was Rosita and Sadiq.
Yeah.
And thought it was like Pastor Gabriel.
I swear they did. They forgot and they think it was Pastor Gabriel's baby. Or they were like, F it, the audience won't know.
Yeah. So the show, see how they try to put babies on men? Even the show tried to do it. Like, nah, that's Pastor Gabriel's baby.
All right, she goes, I'm so happy that she was able to have a happy ending in her own way. She was able to hold and love up on her child. She was able to tell her best friend that she loved him, that she was glad he was the one who survived. She was able to say goodbye to her sisters, Carol, Maggie, and to her maybe man. Gabe telling her, we will see you again, and smiling broke my heart and made me smile at the same time. Her death was so peaceful. She was so settled, so okay with it.
I don't know about that. that Gabriel, we'll see you again. Like I said, maybe he just did that because he's a man of the cloth. He has faith that, this is bound to happen. But like you said, it was almost like just too nonchalant for me. Mm-hmm. Like I've been waiting for this to happen to you, right, so I can move on.
Move on now. Nah, I don't think it was the move on thing.
Nah, it wasn't that, but it wasn't.
It definitely just felt too casual. Did you guys see Judith's face when she realized Rosita was bitten? She was looking around the room, smiling to herself, and her eyes landed on Gabe and Rosita. She kept smiling, and then something in their interaction caused the realization to wash over her. She went from happy to confused to devastated in like 2 beats. That's her Tia Rosita, and now she is leaving her. Well, we already talked about this part, and I call bullshit. Like, how did she know? How did she figure out? Like, is this little girl genius? How, looking at her Aunt Rosita, did she go, you know what, I bet she got bitten?
Right.
Nothing led to that, so, yeah, I didn't like it. She goes, such beautiful scenes revolving around this character. She's been on the show for 7 seasons. I think they gave her a very fitting send-off, almost as beautiful as the actress herself. All right, next is Maggie and Negan. I'm so happy that Negan finally said, I'm sorry. No caveats, no sarcasm, just humility and shame. And I'm so happy that Maggie was finally able to say every single thing that we have wanted her to say.
Yeah.
Or that she wanted to say that we wanted her to say to Negan. She finally told him exactly what he took from her. How he violently took a beautiful, loving, good man from the world for absolutely no reason. She was able to shame him for mocking Glenn as he was dying and yet still thinking of her. He didn't plead for himself. He was calling for her, promising to find her. She was able to tell Negan exactly what he took from her, what he took from the world. When she pointed out that Negan had the unmitigated gall to mock Glenn as he suffered, you could see the shame on Negan's face. He was heartbroken over his actions, and he needed to be. I love how quiet that scene was structurally. So much happened, but it was still so quiet. Well, Chantel, this was beautifully written. I mean, I thought the scene itself was beautiful.
Yeah.
I agree with everything that you said, but you describing that scene, it like as I read these words, I pictured that scene again.
Yeah, I did
in
too.
my head. Beautiful. I agree with everything you just said. It was a beautiful scene, and you describing it was beautiful as well.
Yeah, you described it perfectly.
All right, she has progress. Daryl told Pamela that she's based the Commonwealth on the old world, and then that was the problem. It's almost as though the writers were listening to your pod. I know. When they said that, I was like, oh, that's what I be talking about. That's exactly what I be saying.
Yeah, that sounds like Nicole all day.
I was thrilled to see that in the new world that our group has shaped, true progress was made. Hell, we have 2 brothers running the Commonwealth.
Which
and
is
looking
still,
good doing it.
Which is still the old way.
How?
Which I said before, it doesn't matter how they try to bring it back. There's going to be levels. There's going to be rankings to everything they do. So, I mean, by him saying that I'm the governor and you're the lieutenant governor, is like we never left the Commonwealth. That was their biggest problem, and this is how we're going to keep it. Yeah, we're going to do different things, this, that, but depending on where you live, there's different things being done.
I don't want to look too deep into it.
No, I'm not trying to go too. Well, I was trying to go, but I'm not going too deep into it. But I'm just saying that you had a big problem with the Commonwealth being ran like the old world, which that's how we've been doing every step of the way. Like when we put up, got the Hilltop together, it was ran. There was a higher person, which I don't know if they called the guy the governor who ran Hilltop. The mayor, the governor, I can't remember. But then you had other places, it was the governor, and how he wanted to run it was ran stupid when they had the fist fights. They actually fought to death.
Yeah.
Like he tried to build a Mad Max world or something. But but there's always been this level that these are the people running the stuff. These are the people securing it. It's always been the same. Only thing with the Commonwealth is they actually traded money, not just crops. Like even Negan, the Neganites, the saviors, they had the barter system. Remember, they had the little market where they was giving up. The only difference between the Commonwealth and these places is the Commonwealth was actually trading money, and they actually had some good shit there. They had an ice cream truck. But that's the same thing that was going on. We didn't have the resources at Alexandria, the Hilltop, Oceanside, but it was still a rank or a way that each place was ran that was similar to present day, similar to the Commonwealth.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I think even in the perfect world, you're still going to see similarities to the world that we live in today. Because there's...
Right.
It's like saying nothing good exists today. There's a lot of good stuff in the world.
Right. And, I mean, there's only one way to make sure that it's going to run properly, but you just have to have a good leader to make sure, or a good council like they had before, to make sure that this has been upheld, that we're running this right. Like all the decisions was put on Pamela and her money men, her money people.
Right.
So they actually made the decisions for everybody, kind of like, what's going on. But I'm saying that even at Alexandria and every place, it's ran the same place. It wasn't ran with the dollar bill, but they did, have trade barter system and all this other stuff. It's all about who's running it.
I agree. All right, she goes randomness. It's all good. Here we go. 1. I'm not thrilled that Daryl and Connie weren't officially together at the end. Why couldn't she go to the spinoff with him? Don't try to pacify us with telling him that she is happy. Bullshit. Let them be together, damn it.
She's not going to the spinoff is because they're going right back to The Walking Dead.
Yeah, she'll be there during the full.
We'll probably miss a season or 2 of The Walking Dead, but they would definitely be back.
Yeah.
Or you will see a lot of these people in the spinoff.
In the spinoffs, right.
Like, maybe, who all has a spinoff? Like, we already see where Michonne and Rick are, what they're doing. So we know they're not going to be near the Commonwealth or Alexandria. We saw Daryl just take off, so we know he's not going to be there. But we also have a spinoff with Maggie and Negan. And Maggie is still there.
Yeah. So that's why I know they're probably going to start us off in the Walking Dead, quote unquote.
Right.
And then we're going to see them leave.
But Negan is already gone.
Did it really show him leave? I saw him just walk around the corner and head nod at Daryl.
Well, I figured that he was leaving, especially when he gave Judith the gift.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, I'm out of here. I'm gone.
Yeah, that is true.
So I don't know how they're going to end up back together, or whether Walking Dead is not even going to talk about it. When they have the new series come with them too, they're just going to be somewhere.
Yeah. 2, the hot doctor survived. Tommy was at the family dinner. Yes, and hopefully now Tommy can live the life that he wants, baking cakes. And then hopefully on occasion he can come and help out if needed.
I think Chantel just like doctors. She loved the doctors on the show.
Sadiq, yeah. 3. Where the hell are Scott, Sonequa Martin Green's husband, Birdie, okay, that's the name I was trying to think of earlier, and the one redhead chick from Alexandria who has been in the background forever, Barbara? And where's Struggle Braids? I know the actor is literally on Broadway doing a show as I type, but still, plop that sad wig in on a stand-in and show him from behind.
Right.
Yeah. Scott, yeah, I was just talking about Scott earlier. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't bring in some of the regular of the background.
They should have.
Yeah.
They should have brought in the people that we knew that were just
recognized.
That were in the background. If they wanted to kill them then,
yeah.
they could have killed them
they
then.
Killed him then.
But The Walking Dead still played it too safe for me. Like, even going out, they played it as safe.
Yeah.
Like, in reality, all those walkers surrounding the hospital, they should have showed us how they got out of the hospital.
Yeah.
They should have showed us how Mercer got back with them when they were separated. There's a lot they should have shown us that, The Walking Dead is just doing The Walking Dead. But
yeah. 4. Damn, RJ gets no respect. I watched
None.
Talking Dead, and they didn't even put the kid on stage until the very end when everyone came on stage, and some adult was standing in front of him for most of the time. He looked miserable. They better feature him big time when his mommy and daddy return. Hashtag team put some respect on RJ Grimes' name now.
they're probably going to have a different
kid. Yeah.
Because I'm
maybe
thinking,
he's just not a strong actor.
Maybe he's not that strong of an actor. Or maybe he don't even want to act.
Yeah.
That's why they haven't given him many speaking roles now, because he probably haven't shown any interest in it.
Like, well, we already got the kid.
Yeah, we already cast them for this, so let's just keep, we can't just change up the kid like we do with Rosita. Can't just change up the kid now. It was easy for them to do that with Rosita because it was over time.
Yeah. And I would say they did Judith too, but it was over time as well.
They did what to Judith?
Judith, they had different Judiths.
Hold up, what?
Different Judiths? You don't think this girl is the same baby from the beginning?
Oh, no, I know it. Come on now.
I was like, oh my gosh, how does he think that?
No, I know this wasn't a baby. Come on now. But I thought you meant they changed her from the Judith that we know.
No, the older Judith that we know has been the same girl for
okay, that's what I thought you were saying.
I meant like
wow.
the toddlers and the baby Judiths. Those were different.
Yeah, come on now. Come on.
He thinks that was the baby. Oh my gosh, we're about to have a whole nother conversation there. All right.
No, I'm about to say, I know this is saying Judith. I know they ain't changed this young lady on me.
Yeah, no. All right, she goes 5. I thought Gabe was done for when he truly came full circle and went to let those people in. What a powerful moment. I'm so happy that he survived. 6. I love that Roshone teaser. I need to watch it again because I couldn't really see through my tears, but I am so ready for that spinoff. Please cover them. You guys, I'll help if you want me to. Oh, thanks, Chantel. Yeah, we'll probably cover it, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll probably cover it. I mean, I don't see why we wouldn't. We've been covering The Walking Dead all this time. And I think that's all it's going to be, is just The Walking Dead. I don't know if we're going to be able to cover all of them.
Yeah, probably not all. For some reason, I'm not interested in watching the Daryl one. I can probably do Maggie and Negan, I kind of want fun Negan to come back though. I don't want the serious Negan to stay. Like I want
You don't want the serious sad nigga.
Yeah, like crack some
that nigga
jokes.
That almost lost his wife and kid, nigga.
Yeah, come on.
that nigga's not just. That's not for me.
I need the
He's
fun
not for me.
Negan. You make a joke, talk about somebody, do something. So.
But I was thinking of Michonne, Rick, and the Daryl. But I can see why you wouldn't want to cover Daryl.
Daryl's just his story has never interested me.
Like Daryl is like the fan favorite who never has a good solo show.
Yeah.
Like none of his shows that's just focused on Daryl has been
the episodes. Yeah, have been good.
Well, not show. Yeah, you're right. Episodes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about shows. I'm not talking about all the shows he's been on. I'm talking Walking Dead. On The Walking Dead, when they have his little solo, his story is never.
They never hit.
They never hit.
Mm-mm. That's why I guess I feel like I'm not excited. Daryl, an ensemble cast, great, excellent, favorite character.
Right.
Daryl as a solo, just I don't know. Just so far,
well, you know what?
Hit me.
They just don't hit when they come to Daryl shows, and maybe it's just hopefully we get better writing done when it comes to a Daryl spinoff.
And maybe I need Daryl to loosen up too. Like, he's just too serious. So I'm just thinking, like, that seriousness for a whole episode of him grunting and not smiling, not laughing, and having a good time with people. It's like, ugh, I want to be sad. Like, I feel Daryl's going to be just sad the whole time.
But yeah, we definitely going to cover a couple of shows.
Okay, but Chantel has a little more. She goes, what a ride it has been. I'm so grateful to The Walking Dead for being what it was and for creating an environment in the real world in which people who would never have otherwise met were able to form a few real lasting friendships. I'm so grateful to you, Nicole and Gary, for sticking with it and with us. Through moves and other life changes, you have kept the party going, given us an outlet to rehash our favorite show with like-minded people. There's no show out there like yours. You make the magic. We are the Walking Dead family. We are the Verdicts In family. Because of both of you, thank you so much, Chantel.
Oh, thank you, Chantel.
Oh my gosh,
that was
Chantel,
nice.
She's like, you're such a good writer. That's so sweet. That was very, very sweet. Thank you.
But yeah, we're going to continue the party. We just don't know which shows we're going to continue it with, but it's going to be a couple of the Walking Dead shows.
Yeah, definitely.
Like the one that do we keep seeing the little trailers for?
Oh, the Tales or
no.
Fear?
Nuh-uh. It's like a new show called City Break or Day Breaker. It's one of the Walking Dead shows.
That's the Maggie and Negan one. Dark City or something City or...
Now that's what I'm talking about. When they come back, if they're right there in the city or wherever they at with Maggie and Negan, that's going to be a problem for me. Because we left off, you were both at either the Commonwealth or Alexandria, wherever you were at. Mm-hmm. So if you just come on your new show and you got to explain to us how you got there, you in New York City or something.
Yeah, I've been seeing people say New York. So I'm like, how do they get there? Which means, like I said, that's why I feel like the first episodes of each show will be technically Walking Dead shows. They'll have to
Hopefully.
They'll have to take us back there.
They would have to, since they didn't end us on there.
Right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Chantel. We
Thank
appreciate
you, Chantel.
it.
We really do appreciate it. And thank you for being our third host for, seasons.
For seasons. Multiple seasons. Thank you. The show would not have been the show without you. Yeah,
like this podcast would have been over 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Nicole would have said a couple of likes, just like, it was like, yeah, that's it. That's all y'all get.
Sometimes, really, our pod will be like 15 minutes.
Nicole be wrapping me up sometime.
Yeah, like, wrap it up, man. You talked long enough. Wrap it up. Gary hates it when I do the wrap it up. Like the wrap it up signal. Does not like it. All right, and we also have a message here from Dark Mark. He wrote, favorite part of the finale, Daryl says what Nicole has been saying all along. You had the chance to start over.
Yep.
Or something along those lines. Yeah, it was definitely something along those lines. All in all, I liked the final. I thought Rosita's death was very emotional and sad. So happy Rick made his appearance. Did he really make an appearance, though? I don't feel like Rick made an appearance. I feel like that was literally the first 2 minutes of their spinoff, and then they just threw it. It like literally, it didn't go with the episode. It just was like, okay, here's the first 2 minutes. You know how they show that sometimes, like, here's the first 2 minutes of a movie or whatever?
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. It didn't even feel like him or Michonne were... It didn't feel like they were part of the show because they didn't interact with anyone else. They didn't even interact with each other, technically. So...
We were both happy to see Rick. We were happy to see Michonne. I mean, we said last episode that, you know, they have to come out like this. Or they have to leave the series finale like this. They did what we expected them to do.
They did the very, very minimum. They knew that we wanted to see Rick and Michonne, and they did the absolute minimum in showing us Rick and Michonne by showing us the first 2 to 3 minutes of their new show. That's all I'm going to say. But,
all right.
Yeah. Thanks, Mark, for writing. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
Yeah, but let's still do a... I ain't fearing shit this episode. We're not going to do Most Likely Die because the show's over.
Yeah.
For now.
And yeah, neither one of our Most Likely to Dies have died this episode.
Right.
Or any other episode this season. But, you know, I wasn't expecting Rosita. I don't think she was on your radar either.
No, I don't think she was.
I just thought that maybe if they ended, she would be there at the end at wherever they ended at. Kind of disappointed that they, and I think we already spoke about this. I'm disappointed that they didn't take advantage of this time and just wipe a lot. Like, they could have wiped everybody out that was right there in the circle of the walkers after Daryl got through. Mm-hmm. Now, wouldn't that have been something if they would have killed off the rest of them?
Yeah. Well, that's why I said that. That whole group.
I know you said it, but I want to say it. I want to say it like it's my idea. I looked at you and said, wouldn't that have been something?
Yeah, that would have been amazing.
That would have been amazing.
Sad, but it would have been like people would have been talking right now still.
Right. If they would have just killed that whole group. Because who was there? Carol was there?
Kelly.
Yeah, Magna. Well, they killed Luca and his girl. So.
Oh yeah, they.
Eugene? Was Eugene there?
Was Eugene there?
No, Eugene wasn't. He wasn't there.
Was Lydia there? No, not yet.
Yeah, but just if they would have
been like four of the extras.
Yeah, so they would have just killed off that whole group, and we would saw that. Yeah, people would have been talking.
Yeah,
we would have known the Walking Dead is not playing with us.
He's not playing. So yeah,
that would have got an instant cast from us.
Yeah, that would have.
Like, oh, did you see that? Yeah, but I ain't fearing shit. I'll give it to Judith because although we say she needs to stay in the kid's place, which she should, and it's not her fault she keeps stepping out of the kid's place. It's everyone else's fault who keeps allowing it. Or what do you call people like that who keep allowing you to do stuff?
Condone.
No.
Enable.
Yeah, enablers. All the enablers around her. But Judith, I mean, we saw her shot in the arm, not knowing what's going on, but had enough sense to kind of get up and say, hey, we need to get these doors shut. This don't look right. Plus, after all that, which we both said it was stupid that they didn't make her ass go in the house then. Like, go get some bed rest. You just got shot. But she was still out there. She was the one who said the last couple of things to Pamela.
Right.
Like, what did she even say? She said, it don't have to be like this.
It don't have to be this way. People can change.
Yeah, whatever she said, she was out there to say it. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what she said, but she was out there to say it after getting shot.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one.
And she was able to say it to the person who shot her. Cold-blooded.
Yeah.
Judith showed mercy to unmerciful person. Is that a word? Unmerciful?
I
or
don't
merciful?
know, but...
But she showed mercy where mercy shouldn't have been shown.
Exactly. All right, I'm going to give I Ain't Fair and Shit to Rosita. Rosita, when she came in there and having to fight all those walkers, like, she did some pretty cool moves. And I didn't think she was going to get to her daughter in time. That was an intense scene. Seeing how happy she was when she saw her baby. Just literally this whole third half of this season. The emotions, the fear that she shows for her child. So I know she's probably not mad. She's like, this sucks, but at the same time, the fact that her baby could have been dead, she's just so happy that she was able to save her.
Yeah.
And
I like that one.
I thought she just kicked ass, even telling the guys to go ahead. I mean, it was stupid, but...
No, it was nothing wrong with her saying that. It was something wrong with them doing it.
Yeah. Definitely. So he's gonna have to tell
Because
his child that one.
Yeah, because Rosita's a badass. She's gonna say, "Hey, y'all go ahead. I got this."
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I thought of while you were talking about Rosita is, what was the? I don't understand. What was the rush to get out of there? I mean, they were, after they killed the walkers that was in like the little nursery or whatever. That seemed like a pretty safe place to stay or to hold it down. Like, you three have babies with you. Why are y'all still trying to get out there to fight or get back to the rest of the group?
Yeah, because actually, is that the scene? Because I forgot to talk about it. Is that the scene? Did they have the babies already after they get out of that van? Because they just get out of the van and then there's all these walkers. And I'm like, why'd they get out of the van?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they have seen they had all the. Yeah, they had the babies.
So they
already.
had the babies already.
Yeah, when they got out the van, you talk about when they said climb up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the babies were.
So they got out of the van straight and tried to climb. But then why did they get out of the van is the question.
I don't understand. See, you're there already. Why they get out of the van? But I'm like, why they leave where they were at?
Yeah.
I'm like, you just.
How did they get to that van? Why were they in that van?
You already secured the place.
Right.
You have a reason not to go on and fight with the rest of them.
Right.
You have 3 babies with you.
Yep, you're right.
What happened shouldn't have happened.
You're right. Because it's like, why did they leave that building and get on the van? And then from the van, why did they get out of the van when all the walkers were still surrounding it?
So I guess we could talk about it on our what if. Because there's a lot of what ifs around Rosita this episode. Like, I mean, what if they never left the hospital? What if they got a van, never left the van? What if she didn't allow the guys to go first?
Right.
Or didn't tell them to go first? And what if she was just died right there?
Yeah.
Been cold-blooded.
So we started potting on The Walking Dead, I believe season 6, I want to say. I want to say we came in when the season Glenn and Abraham died. We've been watching, of course, before that, but that's when we started potting. But so with us being a small podcast, we're still a small podcast all these many years later. We just want to say thank you to everyone who has emailed in, tweeted us, sent us Facebook message, interacted in any way with us social media, or directly with the podcast with your feedback.
Yep.
Really, really appreciate it. I want to just name some names that we looked at that emailed us or sent us a Facebook post. I may have not got all the tweets because that's a little harder, but we have C Cypher, Trey, Jack Lee, Abby. I think Abby might have been one of the beginning, so hopefully you're still listening, Abby. Yolanda D, Ronnie, Gloria, my mother-in-law, Gary's mother. Thank you.
Mom.
Derek, Mark, Ricky from the UK. I don't know why I had to put where they were from. I saw an old email and said he from the UK. Cara, Chandler, not Chandler Riggs, I'm assuming. Tiffany, what up, Tiffany?
What up, Tiff?
Patrick, Lisa, Jerry, which is AK Darth Maul. He made fun of me for pronouncing it wrong for many, many years. Diane, Sam, Sheldon, Jean, Vicky, Mike M, Dark Mark, Alma. Thank you so much, Alma, for all your Facebook interaction.
Thanks, Alma.
And then, of course, our official / unofficial third host, Chantel. We really couldn't have done it without you. I think you've been sending us messages since 2017. Yeah. I consider Chantel like a friend now. We share kids updates and everything with each other. This means so much. We can't say enough words that we are so thankful for all the inside information that you've given and provided.
So thankful.
Amazing job to everybody, but thank you so much, Chantel. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Chantel. Thank you, everyone. The whole Verdict Series family. We appreciate you.
Yes, thank you so much.
That's all we have for now.
Definitely follow us on Facebook or Twitter, or just follow our Verdicts End page, or Verdicts End podcast page, and we will post everything there no matter what show it is. So anything that we cover will also go to that feed. All right. Well, until next time, I'm Nicole.
I'm Gary.
Bye.